Here. Okay, I'm recording the session tonight, so if you do miss anything, I will be sending out a replay for this tomorrow. And our star of the show, or our main star of our mentorship program and host, has just joined us. Walter, do we have you on board here?
Yes, I thank Kelly for sending me that link. That link she sent is what worked. So,
all right, do you have control?
I should. Let me double check.
Let me see here. I'm going to unshare my screen. Stop sharing so we can see you. There you go.
Perfect. Excellent. Back in the game.
You're in the game now. All right. I am recording from my side, so I'll send out the replay tomorrow to everybody. But I'm going to let you start taking over there if you want. You're looking brilliant there, nice and shining.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. It's good to see you as well. Welcome back, everyone. Let's turn cameras on. If this is your first time to the Boston Ring, I want to say welcome. This is a educational group, and we want to make sure that you're getting as much learning as you possibly can. So turning your camera on as the speaker is speaking gives us the ability to see if what we're saying makes sense. Everybody with the camera on, hands to the camera. That makes sense. We see how that works. Excellent. Thank you very much for participating. Again, for everybody who's new to the group, please turn your cameras on. It makes it a lot easier for us to interact and make sure that we're doing the right job as making sure that you're being informed and understanding what we're saying. Hands to the camera if that makes sense. Excellent, excellent. And the reason we say hands to the camera is because your hand gets nice and big and we can see it. With all the little screens, it's really hard. If you put your hand up over here, we can't really tell. So hands to the camera means right there, just like that. And it makes it a lot easier for the speaker to know if what we're saying is getting through. Very good. Welcome back. And let me make sure that my screen share works so that everybody can see what I'm seeing. If you see what I'm seeing, just let me know. Should be there. Can you see the slides? Yes, excellent. Raphael, good to see you, man. It's good to see everybody in our mentorship program. Love seeing those beautiful faces. Let me get the slideshow going. And before we get started, let's give Duncan a round of applause for running this while I was a little bit late. Thank you, Duncan.
You're welcome.
Duncan is the founder of the Boston RIA, so him and Kelly do a lot of the promotion and the background work, so I just want to give them a round of applause. They're very important people for our community, so give Duncan and Kelly Weirman a round of applause. Thank you guys for everything you do.
Thank you, but Walter, we wouldn't be anything without you. We really appreciate you hosting it, and just let everybody know that Home Depot and National RIA really want to put you forward nationally. As brand you as part of their organization, and they see that you have a great future in teaching and speaking. So thank you for starting us off at Boston RIA.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Duncan. Again, let's give them a round of applause. You guys are amazing. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. And I appreciate the Home Depot. We're going to talk about them a little bit later. Sarah, Ibram, are you here ready to talk about them when we bring them on? Yes?
Yep. Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Awesome. So we're going to get started. And here we go. Let's make sure this works. Again, this is November. We've made it. Again, COVID is still a concern, and so we're meeting online. So thank you, everybody who bears with us and understands that we're being protected and we're making sure that everybody is safe, but we're also not compromising you or your education. That's why we're doing these events live via Zoom, so that you can still get the value and still build your career. That being said, this is our liability disclosure. Please take a picture of it. Boston RIA, I will read it out loud for you. Boston RIA assumes no liability or responsibility for the outcome of any real estate transaction, decision, or other action that any Boston RIA member or visitor enter into as a result of attending any meeting, listening to any guest speaker, or talking to any Boston RIA member, guest, visitor, or persons herein or after. This is just saying that real estate investing can have risks. The biggest risk is up here. If you don't know what you're doing, you could make mistakes. Learn from mentors, learn from coaches, learn from people in this group, but at the same time, trust and verify. You are your best asset, and you can also be your biggest liability. If you do any deals with anybody inside, outside, or because you were sparking the idea from the Boston RIA, just know we have no liability on that. That being said, we do encourage you to do deals. We just want to make sure that you're very cautious about it and that you're doing your own due diligence, and that we are in no way liable for anything that you do, whether you are super successful or you do run into an error. It's all up to you. It's your action, your results. Hands to the camera if that makes sense. We agree. You are responsible for everything that you do. Awesome. Very good. I like it when people can take full accountability for their actions. That's a sign of success. Moving forward, we are the largest trade association of real estate investors in the United States of America. We have a massive trade discounts, which gives you a lot of benefits if you are already a member of the Boston RIA. Hands to the camera if you are a paid member of the Boston RIA. Pay your subscription, get all the access to all the benefits. Awesome, awesome. Don't worry if you are not one of those people who have paid and get all the benefits. We'll give you an opportunity later in the night. Who likes opportunities? Excellent. And you will get a discount, and discounts are good too. It's probably half the party here. Moving on.
You said put your hand.
Yeah, put your hands in the camera, right? Like it's our local business partners, JM Real Estate Capital, Universal Capital, Leverage, Legal Shield. Is there anybody on from any of our local partners who represents them tonight that would like to speak? Do we have JM Capital in the house or Universal Capital here? If so, at any point, just reach out to Kelly and we can bring you on, as long as it's before our speaker comes on. I want to make sure that any of our local business partners get an opportunity to talk about themselves, because you guys support our business, and we really appreciate not only the partnership that we have, the relationship we have with you, but also some of the information that you give about hard money lending and some of the different opportunities we have working with these partners. Kelly, do you see anybody in the room? No. Awesome. All right, moving on. If you are new to real estate investing, put your hand to the camera. New to real estate investing. Excellent. Yeah, Raf, you don't count as new. How many flips do you own already, please? Yeah, we're relatively new, right? Excellent. Okay. So if you're new, let us help you get started making money in your first deal. Join the Boston RIA tonight. There are so many benefits to joining the Boston RIA because we will help you do your deals. Hands to the camera if you're a coach, mentor, or somebody who's been in this business for a long time, willing to help, a member of the Boston RIA. There we are. These are people you can reach out to when you're a member. If you're not a member, we're still nice people, but at the end of the day, this is a business that takes time and takes effort for us to do what we do. And so we ask that you be committed yourself. By paying the membership, you show us that you're taking it seriously. And if you're willing to put up the small price to pay for the membership to get access to all the tools, we don't mind investing in you. Does that make sense? Excellent. Have you ever been to college for a free tuition? Anybody ever go to college and pay free tuition? Did you? Well, give him a round of applause. He beat the system. But for all the rest of us, we've had to pay for our education, pay for our schooling, whether it was the state funding or us paying our own mortgages or Sallie Mae loans, whatever it may be. It's the same thing here. Real estate's the same thing. So people's time is worth money. It's just not as structured as the school system. Unfortunately. Over $1,200 in value. Our All-Star membership includes free, by the way, who would like to learn about our All-Star membership? Should I go back and get permission first? Yes. Who would like to learn more about what you actually get in the Boston RIA before we jump into the speaker? Excellent. Good, man. Give him a round of applause for being curious, for wanting to learn more. That's one of the key principles of being a successful investor. All-Star membership includes free entrance to the monthly main events, free entrance to subgroup of meetings, which every single Saturday we have a subgroup meeting where we get together. We talk about the 52 wealth principles. Every Monday we have a wholesale mastermind. These are free events to members of the Boston RIA. And every Wednesday we also get together and we talk about the beginning steps to buying more real estate. Who knows that wholesaling, the beginning steps, and millionaire wealth principles are valuable? These are things that would be valuable to anybody. Yes. Excellent. Who already goes? Who already is a member and goes to these events? Awesome. Awesome. Good people in the room. And it's funny because I recognize a lot of names. It's just, people are scared to put their faces out tonight. I don't know if we're getting close to Thanksgiving and everybody's already getting, maybe it's the Halloween. The paint hasn't come off from the Halloween costumes. And I know Ryan McDermott was actually a unicorn this Halloween. So very, very interesting seeing you in that uniform on one of our calls. And Ryan is a financial advisor, specialized in helping real estate investors build up capital and protect their capital so they can get access to it. And he's been in our mentorship. He's a coach in the mentorship program. Phenomenal investor. We also get access to the Home Depot 2% rebate program, which you'll find out later on. Sarah's going to talk about. There's actually even more access to more discounts than just that 2%. The exclusive membership benefits, which again, if you look at the top, it's about $1,200 value if you use all of it. And if you're a smart investor, obviously you capitalize on all of the benefits. You get discounted workshops and more. Join today. Who knows that they're interested in learning more about this? Maybe wants to have a call with Kelly Weirman at some point this week. Excellent. Kelly, can you put your contact information in the chat again, just to make sure if somebody is interested, they have access to it. And again, I will tell you, I'm a member of many RIAs, many across the state and across the country. And I have found that every single membership more than pays in itself 10 times because of the access I get to the leaders of the group, the access I get to the big players. And so it's helped me build my business. Who knows that they want to build their business this year in 2020, 2021? Who knows they're going for $1 million? Who's going for the mill, the big 7-digit figure income? Awesome. You're going to need the right network. Broke friends won't help. You're going to want people who are in a network like this and other networks. I encourage you to sign up for all memberships because those networks are powerful access. Does that make sense? This one is the most valuable in the Massachusetts area. So if you're in Massachusetts, the Boston RIA is where it's at. Make sure you reach out to Kelly Weirman. Learn a sport, be a player. Your door fee applied when you join tonight, which, by the way, still working on getting Duncan and Kelly to charge for the door fee here. Who's thankful that this was free? Yes? Excellent. Let's give it up to COVID, to Duncan and Kelly for making these events free still for everybody. Normally, if this was a live event, you would be getting free because you're a member. Because it's COVID, we're not charging. And I want to jump into the Home Depot a little bit. This is, in real estate investing, you have 3 pieces: deals, money, labor. And the labor piece is tied into material costs, and you need a partner for that. And Home Depot has been our partner. It's who we've used all the time to save some money in discounts. Sarah, you ready? Let me slide over the share to you.
Thank you, Walter.
Yeah.
All right. Can you see my screen?
Not yet, Sarah.
Cool.
There we go.
Right. Awesome. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. Home Depot. I'm very excited to speak about Home Depot. It's a fantastic program. It is a rewards program. So think of it as like CVS, when you collect and you make purchases, you collect rewards, and then it gives you discounts that you could use. But this is way better than CVS or even any other rewards program. So what happens is that you create an account. It's not a credit card. It's just a regular rewards account with Pro Extra. If you are a member or you want to become a member, I would help you to set that up for you. And then after that, I would get one of your business credit cards or as many credit cards as you want enrolled with the National RIA special code. So every time you go and make purchases, when you swipe the card, you collect the 2% rebate. So what happens is there is a by default rebate is 2%. It's biannually and it starts January 1st until June 30th, and then it starts again July 1st until December 31st. That will require a minimum of $5,000 spent to get the 2% rebate. So over 6 months, that 5,000, so it's under $1,000 a month. And what happens is that you get that rebate as a Home Depot gift card, and that gets mailed to you within 60 days. So we always encourage you that you would keep your mailing address updated so you wouldn't lose your rebates. Also, for any rehabber, painting is the minimum that can be done for any property. So they have fantastic discounts for rebate. They offer Boston REIA members 20% right away. Normally, regular people, any Home Depot client would need to spend $7,500 to get to that gold tier. But with Boston REIA, you automatically go to that gold status right away, and you get 20% off. That being said, the 20% off is applicable to paint, stains, primer. It has to be 1 gallon or more. If you go with the quartz or if you go with the spray or any of that, it's not gonna take the 20%, but it will take the 2%. Again, at the checkout, to get the 20% off, you need to enter at the pin pad before you pay. You need to enter your phone number, and that will give you the 20% right at the checkout. And if you pay using a registered credit card, you get you accumulate the 2%. The 2% you're not gonna get at the checkout, it's gonna get at the end of the 6 months, but you get the 20% right away. Also, kitchen, bathrooms is a huge project. So members of Boston REIA can get 20% of select Hampton Bay kitchen and bath cabinets. This is if you purchase 10 or more cabinets. How it works is that you request 10% from National REIA and another 10% from Home Depot. Both are stackable. On top of that, you get 2%. But at the checkout, you get that 20% right away. Also, this is my favorite part. Basically, it's called VPP or Volume Pricing Program or Bidroom. How it works is that, you get whatever prices, whatever discounts they have, you can still get even more. So how it works is that you first need to have a list of large materials that cost $1,500 or more in a single transaction. Bring that to the pro desk, ask them to prepare a quote for you. And once they do that, they send it to the bidroom, and then it comes back with the applied discount. Discounts goes anywhere from 0 to 15%. The whole process just takes a few minutes. So it's absolutely worth doing. And on top of that, you get 2% at the end of the 6 months. Of course, paint should not be one of these one of these products, just because it's gonna get 20%. So, but the maximum you can get for discounts on the bidroom is 15. So you should run the paint separate than the list of the materials. It's pretty fantastic. One project will really, between the 20% between the bidroom and the rebate, is just gonna get you even more than the membership for Boston REIA. And I thought to just write the information. Please take a picture here with your cell phone. I'll leave it just for a second. If you wanna become a member, or if you think you're a member and you wanna verify if your membership expired or if it's still good, please call or text Kelly. That's her number, and she will get you squared away. I am looking forward to set up everyone with Home Depot soon. Thank you. Thank you again, Walter. Thank you, Duncan. Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you. Excellent job, Sarah. Thank you very much.
Let's give Sarah a round of applause. Excellent job and excellent value. Who here learned something about the Home Depot? Realize that they're more than just a store. They're actually a partner of ours. And without them, you'll pay full price for things. With them, with the Boston REIA, with the National Association, the negotiations that they've already done for us, you get even more savings. Me and my business partner saved thousands of dollars per year at the Home Depot by using the Pro Desk, by using our association with the National RIA. And it's really, really helped us spur more value into our business that we just spent on marketing and other access. Who knows, an extra $2,000-$3,000 a year would be pretty good for your business. Yes. Excellent. Give, again, Sarah, a round of applause. Thank you so much, Sarah, for giving that presentation. I know it's not always easy.
I just wanted to make a statement because I got the results from the last year, and our average member received $1,400 back last year. So, your cost of your membership really more than, triples itself in return for what you invest just on Home Depot alone. So, it's great. So even like we were remodeling a kitchen, we literally saved thousands of dollars just on the bid room too, besides that. So it's huge, guys. And you can't get this discount anywhere else. We have contractors coming to us to become members just so they can get the same sort of benefit.
Give Duncan a round of applause. That's stuff that we wouldn't know if he didn't tell us. Does that make sense? There's a lot of, I know what I make, and obviously I save more because I do more than most people. But if the average member is getting $1,400, that more than covers the cost, which I'll talk to you about the cost. Who here would like to learn a little bit more about the cost of the membership to the Boston RIA? Excellent. Smart people. It's all about investing in yourself and investing in real estate at the same time. So let me get
Walter, why don't you tell them a little bit just about, before we go on, it's just about your mentorship program within Boston, just so they get a feel of why, becoming a member and then having access to you through your mentorship program and our partnership in general.
Awesome. Yeah, Duncan, it doesn't take me much to sell something I believe in. So the mentorship program is something we put together. I wish it existed when I started investing back in 2012. I really, back then, I just wanted somebody to tell me what to do, what not to do, what not to make mistakes in, how to find the money, how to find the deals, how to pay as little as possible, how to manage my properties, and how to evaluate deals. And what eventually it became was I discovered that people were asking me to work with them. And I would work with somebody for a week or two and they would flake out. They just, flake off and they disappear. And so I started charging. $1,000 because I was getting frustrated with people's lack of success and mostly just wasting my time. And as I started charging, what I discovered is not only the people that I thought would be like borderline potential, they actually became truly successful because they committed to themselves. So the mentorship is 8 weeks. And what was happening was I put people into this program and charged nothing for it, but they wouldn't show up every single week. Who's ever done that before? Sign up for something free and kind of like petered off? Yes. Well, what changed was when I charged the $1,000, I went from about 50% of the people showing up to 98% of people showing up for the entire 8 weeks. And then if they missed, they would ask me, can I get an extra week at the end? If they missed a week, they would contact me and say, hey, I missed one of the weeks, because now they put a perceived dollar amount to their education. Does that make sense? Isn't it crazy? And that's why I charge. Not only am I over delivering, because I would have done this for free. This is something I believe in. I built in a team. I have Ryan McDermott, who's our financial advisor within it. So it's not just me. It's also 6 other coaches who are specialists in wholesaling, specialists in real estate evaluation. We have 3 or 4 of us are authors of books. I wrote the book, Broke to a Quarter Million, which is a process to become a quarter millionaire in 2 years. If you're starting at 0, if you're starting at 100,000, I can make you a half a millionaire in 2 years. Does that make sense? Excellent. So the book is a process to becoming wealthier. It will not teach you how to earn a $250,000 in a year. It will teach you how to build your first $250,000 net worth. Who knows, being able to add a $250,000 or a $500,000 or $1 million net worth would be very valuable. Yes. Yeah. So I wrote the book on it. I thought the same thing. And the mentorship, we have other authors. We have, in fact, Mitch Jorsky, The Scaredy Cat Guide to Real Estate Investing. He wrote that book. We have Doug McGurk. Darina, what is Doug's book? I don't have it in front of me right now because I brought them all upstairs.
It's Under Construction.
Under Construction, and it's talking about the toughness of your mind. As a real estate investor in Florida, I'm a real estate investor here in Massachusetts. I own 60 units, 60 rental units. I own 23 condos. It's a mix of 23 condos, a 10-unit building, 2 5s, 3 3s, and I bought a 18 unit. What's that thing called? A boarding house. So now I own a boarding house. Who'd like to own like a boarding house, rooming house? You know, there's a lot of cash in those things. Way more than I thought. I had no clue how lucrative that could be. And I've done a master lease. I've done subject to existing financing, seller financing. I have raised private capital. I've used hard money. I've used commercial loans. I've used hedge funds. I've used, let's see, private money, hard money, commercial, residential. I've done owner, FHA. I've done mass housing. I've done Rhode Island housing. If you can think of it, I have found a creative way to buy houses. Who here knows that money can sometimes be an issue? Yeah, it's not with me. Just ask me how to get the deal done. I will help you raise capital. I'll help you get with the right people. It's just part of what we do, because I think that once you pay it forward, eventually I'm building $1 billion REIT. And so I need you to be a little richer so that you can join the deal. Does that make sense? And so we charge for the mentorship. It's $1,000 for 2 months, 8 weeks. And at the end of it, we also evaluate your personality. We make sure that you're set and you get a strategy. The habits to become a millionaire. I can't make you a millionaire in 3 to 5 years, but I can teach you the habits over 2 months that when compounded over time, you can do what it takes to become successful. Who understands that habits are what make people successful? Excellent. And I'm sure we're going to hear some habits later on when we bring our speaker on. So thank you, Duncan, for the opportunity for presenting this. Who thought that was valuable, learning more about what mentorship can bring you, what people like us are doing all across the country to help add value? Excellent. Give me a round of applause for doing what I do, because I will not do this indefinitely, but I will do this for the next couple of years because I believe in the mission, building 100 millionaires so that we can build 100 more millionaires. I think it's ethical and moral for you to become rich, and that's why we're doing it. So let me get back to sharing my screen, and let me know if you can see it now. Yes. Excellent, excellent. And yeah, as you can see on your screen, there's a lot of companies here. Who sees a lot of companies? These are all companies we have relationships with that you get discounts to. For example, I mean, some of these discounts are between 2% to 40%. If you look at the Office Max discounts, 55%, Local Market Monitor, Build Zoom, Rent Perfect. Take a screenshot of this. If you're a member, especially, you're going to want to know what we have access to. Take a screenshot. You can reach out to Kelly if there's any of these you're interested in using. And moving forward, this is the Boston RIA membership is annually $280,000. Wow, $280. So imagine if it was $280,000. It's a big discount. So this is super cheap. Like, to get access to everything where you save a ton of money, it's under $300. I would charge you more just because that's how I am. I like to make sure that people stick to it, make sure people utilize the value, make sure people show up to all the trainings. But because you're here already and we didn't charge you tonight, I have a feeling that you're into and interested in your education. Hands to the camera if that is something you believe in. You want to learn more, you want to earn more, yes? Excellent. Hands to the camera if you believe that it's okay to pay for something that allows you to save more. That's why memberships exist. That's why people build programs like this. That makes sense, yes? Excellent. So if you're interested, tonight is the night. This is your chance to get this discount, to get in at $280 per year and save on the entrance fee. When we start doing the events again, you're going to want this membership so that you can get in when other people are paying $30 at the door. It's a very valuable membership just in that alone. But beyond that, you're getting us, you're getting access to all of our free events, you're getting access to our online resources and all of our discounts. Let's give Boston RIA a round of applause. Kelly, can you put your information in the chat box? I want to make sure that if anybody is interested, and if you know this is right for you, please make sure you take action now. Successful people take action, and everybody else waits, procrastinates, dies from analysis paralysis, while the people who took action on getting themselves in the right network are moving forward, doing deals. Who's seen people pass them? Who's seen people do deals all around them, speeding past them because they just spent a little bit of money to get around the right people? Yes, we acknowledge that that's how it works. All in who you know, not what you know. Excellent. I think it's a combination of both, and that's why we have a speaker tonight, Paul Fossano. The training is called Hacking Finance, How to Make the Financial System Build Your Wealth for You on Autopilot Without Investing. Who likes the sound of autopilot? Yes? Yes, excellent. Give me 1 second to stop sharing the screen, and I've got a super fancy introduction that we wrote earlier that I think is, I think we put probably just enough effort into this to make it really sexy for you. And let me see if I can find it. You know, Duncan, it's amazing how many things I can have open at one time on my computer. Here we go. So me and Duncan worked on this earlier. Because Paul has so much experience, I wanted to make sure that I presented this properly. Paul, is it okay if I share something that we wrote about you? Yes? Excellent. Whew. Paul Fossano, speaker introduction written by myself and Duncan Weirman. Tonight's guest speaker is about to share something extremely powerful and unique with you. Before I bring him up, let me tell you a little bit about him. He began his career as a real estate investor and entrepreneur at the age of 21. And over the last 20 years, he's been involved in hundreds of residential and commercial deals. He's also started, owned, and operated several successful businesses. As a master trainer for George Antone's company, Finance, he's on a mission to help people create financial freedom, which is why he's here with us tonight. Who here wants financial freedom? Hands to the camera if you know it's right for you. Excellent. Through their one-on-one, one-of-a-kind education and training, they're building the world's largest network. Again, I talked about network, how your network is your net worth of finance hackers. Every day, folks who are learning to leverage the financial systems in incredible ways to build wealth on autopilot and live happier and more fulfilled lives. Who here knows that they're in this to live a happier, more fulfilled life? It's not about the money, it's about the financial freedom, it's about the wealth that you're gaining from this. Excellent, excellent. Tonight, he's going to cover a fascinating topic, hacking finance, how to make the financial system build your wealth for you on autopilot without investing. How does that sound? That sounds interesting. Yes, hands to the camera if it sounds good. Excellent. So without further ado, please give me a warm welcome for Paul Fossano. Excellent, excellent. Paul,
Walter, really appreciate it, man. Appreciate you having me. Duncan, Kelly, thank you so much for having me. For everybody who's here, thank you for showing up. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to share what I'm about to share with you. This is hands down the most fulfilling thing that I do in the world of business, is to share this knowledge and share this education with as many people as I possibly can. It is truly game-changing, truly life-changing, and it is something that what you're about to learn and get your eyes open to, I don't know anywhere else, anybody else who's teaching this besides George Antone, who's the guy that I work with who's teaching it. So hats off to you for showing up tonight. It really says something about you that you're here. The fact that I know you all have about at least 50 other things you could be doing right now, and you're choosing to spend your time here, which says something about your commitment to your success, your commitment to making a difference in your life, making a difference in the world. So I really want to acknowledge everybody who's here right now. And that being said, I'm going to fly through a presentation, and I want you to hold on to your seats. I want you to hold on tight. Make sure you're taking notes. Make sure you're paying very close attention, because what I'm about to share with you can be a little bit mind-bending, to be quite honest. I'm going to share things with you that you've probably never heard about. And we've all been in the world, like Walter just said. I've been in the investing space. I started my career as a real estate investor almost 22 years ago at this point. So I've been in the game for a long time, and the stuff that you're about to learn is stuff that I never heard of until I heard of George Antone, until I met him. So it's stuff that really, truly only the ultra wealthy people in this country and on this planet have any clue even exists. So you're about to get your eyes open to something real special and real powerful here. So that being said, I'm going to share my screen with all of you. I'm going to go through this presentation, and I'm from New York, so I go really fast. I talk really fast. So again, hold on to your seats, take really good notes. I'm going to save all the questions until the end. So if you have questions, just jot them down or type them into the chat. And then at the end, hopefully we'll have some time for Q&A, and I'll be able to answer any questions that you have. All right, so here we go. Hold on to your seats. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm about to dive on in here. All right, so let's rock and roll. All right, so again, topic of this presentation is hacking finance. How to make the financial system build your wealth for you on autopilot without investing. And I know that sounds kind of weird because obviously you're all here to learn how to be investors, or you're already investors. So why would we be teaching you something that doesn't require investing? And I'll expand more on that as we go. And I'll just say this right out of the gate. These strategies, you can build your wealth without investing, but when you combine them with investing, it's going to have your returns go through the roof and your risk is going to go way, way down. So it works incredibly well with investing. It's not like an either or. It's not that you either do this or you invest. You're going to combine this with your investing for results that you can't even begin to imagine at this point. So that being said, before I dive into the real details here, I want to just share with you a quick story of where this whole new basically this is a new paradigm for building wealth that most people have no clue even exists. And again, George Antone is the guy who's created this, and he's the one that really discovered this and is sharing it with the world. He's on a mission, and I'm on a mission with him to share this with the world. So this all started from somebody asking George Antone one question a number of years ago. And George gets invited to speak all over the country. He has for many years. And a number of years ago, he was speaking at an event in Palm Springs, California. And there were about 500 people at this event. And George gets done with his presentation and he walks off stage. And a woman walks up to George and asks him a really interesting question. And this is what she said. She said, "George, is there a way to build financial security without investing in stocks, bonds, or real estate, or even selling anything or starting a business?" And so George kind of chuckled at first because he thought she was kidding. I mean, how is it possible to build wealth without doing any of these things, right? But then George looked at this woman's face, and he could tell by the look in her eyes that she was not kidding. And what he saw in this woman's eyes was this look of fear and desperation. And this woman was probably in her late 50s or early 60s, and she was nearing what she was hoping was the end of her career. She was hoping to stop working at some time soon. And she had managed to save some money, but it wasn't nearly enough to retire on. And she wanted to know, how can I move forward financially without risking losing the money that I've managed to save up to this point? And so George, being the man that he is and realizing this woman was real serious with this question, George took it upon himself to research this and to look into it and see if there was a way he could help this woman. And what George discovered was something extremely fascinating in this process. And he also realized there were a lot of other people that were wondering this same question. And so George discovered this whole new paradigm for building wealth, essentially, that never existed before. There are all these different strategies. Like I said, these are only things that have been known by the ultra wealthy people in this country and on this planet. And George discovered all these strategies that exist and put them together in this whole new paradigm for building wealth that George calls hacking finance. And so I'm going to show you what hacking finance is here on the screen in just 4 bullet points, like high level, what's hacking finance? So hacking finance is broken down into individual strategies. And these strategies, the way that George has set them up for you to learn and implement one strategy per month. And when you learn and implement these strategies, they are on autopilot. So you literally learn them one time, you set them up one time, and they're on autopilot for the rest of your life, building your wealth for you forever from that point forward. You may have to go back and tweak something and just, review it once a year or twice a year, but it's on autopilot. You do not have to keep working in order for these strategies to keep building your wealth for you. And no investing needed, like I said. So I just want you to know, I'm an investor. I have been for over 20 years. George is an investor. We teach investing at a very high level. We're huge fans of investing. But again, to answer this woman's question, to help this woman out, it could not require investing. She did not want to risk losing her money, right? So with these strategies, no investing is needed. And they are low risk strategies. I mean, extremely low risk strategies. So these are the 4 bullet points, high level, how hacking finance works, okay? And really the objective here tonight, my objective is to open your eyes to this very powerful new paradigm for building your wealth that can have you build wealth without making any risky investments, without risking losing anything. And like I said, this is going to have your returns go way up and your risk go way down on the investing that you're already doing or doing in the future. Okay. So that's the objective here tonight. And Walter did a great job of introducing me and sharing a little bit about me. I want to just share a little bit more about myself and my background and really why you should listen to me. Why am I here and why should you listen to me? And so I have a finance degree. I went away to college out of high school, went to college down in Florida. no clue what I wanted to do with my life, but I love numbers. I love math. So I got a degree in finance. And then I graduated college 4 years later, and I still had no clue what I wanted to do with my life. And I really kind of just got a pot of gold. I ran into a rainbow, and at the end was a pot of gold. And I met a mentor when I was 21 years old who was a very successful real estate investor in New York. I'm from Long Island. And this guy was 30 years old at the time and owned about $5 million worth of real estate. So that he owned mostly free and clear. And he was real brilliant at putting deals together and being successful as a real estate investor. So he took me under his wing. At the age of 21, he started showing me the ropes, and I've been involved in real estate ever since. I was full-time in real estate up until about 2012. And then I started teaching and training and really getting a lot of fulfillment out of this aspect of teaching people. But like Walter said, I've done hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of deals. And just about every strategy you can imagine. I've had a ton of success in real estate. And I've also been an entrepreneur and started and owned and operated several successful businesses as well. Another thing you should know about me is I am a growth junkie. So this same mentor who got me into real estate introduced me to personal and professional development. And he was big into Tony Robbins and Zig Ziglar and Jim Rohn and Brian Tracy and all the gurus, right? So he had this huge library in his office of every tape, every CD you can imagine. This is back when tapes still existed, by the way, cassette tapes. And I was in my car driving around every day, listening to tapes and CDs and just soaking up as much knowledge and education as I possibly could. And I've been doing that for the last 20 plus years as well. And I love learning. The investments that I made, I've invested well over $200,000 in my education since then in the last 20 years. And it has paid the biggest dividends of any investment that I've ever made. So I highly encourage you to keep investing in yourselves as well. Just like Walter was just saying, it's the best investment you could possibly make. And I love teaching now more than I love learning, which is pretty hard to beat how much I love learning. So, but important, I'm a growth junkie. And I was personally trained, mentored, and handpicked by George Antone, the founder of our company, to be the person who typically travels all over the country, but now does this virtually in these times of COVID, right? Sharing this information with as many people as possible. So that's a little bit about me and my background. So who's this guy, George Antone? If you don't know who George is, who is he? And why should you listen to George? He's the one that created this training. So it's important that you understand and know a little bit about George and his background too, right? So George Antone started out his career in the high-tech space. He worked for a couple small, tiny little companies you might have heard of. One of them is called Microsoft. Maybe you heard of that company. George was a developer for Microsoft, and then he was a developer for a company called Intuit, the developers of Quicken and QuickBooks. So maybe you've heard of Intuit as well. Incredible finance software. And George was doing incredibly well at a young age. He was making great money as a developer, but he was working insane hours. And he had a young family at home, 3 young kids. And he realized that was not the lifestyle that he wanted. He wanted to be able to spend more time with his family. So in 2001, George got out of the high-tech space and he met a mentor who got him into real estate. And George started his career in real estate buying apartment buildings. And at one time, George owned over 1,000 doors. So he had a pretty significant portfolio of apartment buildings. And then around 2004, 2005, George got into private lending. He met another mentor, got him into private lending. And a lot of people know George for what he's done in the private lending space. And he's raised millions and millions, tens of millions of dollars. In fact, for everything from real estate to lending. George used to run a hedge fund for private lending. And he's even raised money for things like businesses and infomercials. And at this point, George is considered a thought leader in the finance and investing space. And so all this is great, right? All this stuff about me and George is great, but it still doesn't really tell you why you should listen to George, who created this training, or me, who's here sharing it with you tonight. So I can tell you that George is the best-selling author of these 3 books, but you know what? Who cares? Who cares? I can tell you that George is a radio host on the Wall Street Radio Network, but again, who cares? I can tell you that George was a lead developer for the world's #1 personal finance software, Quicken Financial Planner, but again, who cares? And I can tell you that George founded the largest network of private money lenders in the entire world. I mean, this is quite an accomplishment, but again, who cares? Who cares? Because all these accomplishments are great, but it still does not tell you why you should pay really close attention to what I'm about to share with you here tonight. And what it comes down to is this. the reason you should pay really close attention and listen to what I'm about to share with you here tonight is because this information can have a huge impact on your financial future. This information literally can change your financial future from this day forward and allow you to leave a legacy for your family, for your children and your grandchildren that would not be possible without the information that you're about to learn. So that's the reason you should pay really close attention and listen to what I'm about to share. So that being said, my friends, are you ready? Are you ready? And since I can't hear you, so you're all muted, I'm going to assume that the answer is yes. And let's rock on here. Let's journey on. All right. So we're going to start out the training. This is the agenda for our training tonight. This is what we're going to go through. So you see, we have a lot of information to go through here tonight and not all that much time, right? I've got about another, let's say 70 minutes to get through all of this. So I'm going to go fast. And again, take really good notes, save your questions till the end. But we're going to start out here with a self-assessment. Now, all of you, when you registered for this meeting tonight, you received an email with instructions to fill out this self-assessment form before the training, right? So hopefully you all filled this out. If you didn't fill this out, don't worry about it. Just make sure you do it after the training, and you'll see why this is a really valuable tool for you to use. And this self-assessment form is essentially showing you where are you starting out, right? This is telling you where are you as far as how efficient, okay, keyword here, how efficient is your personal finance system designed to either have you building wealth on autopilot or actually have you maybe moving backwards financially without even knowing it. And that's the reality for most people, is that they're moving backwards financially without even knowing it. Even when they're making money, mathematically proven, most people are actually moving backwards financially. So this self-assessment form is a really important tool to see where are you starting out, right? So what we're going to do is let's see who filled this out. And I'm just curious, what were some of your scores? So if you want to just type into the chat, and I'm curious to see what some scores were that came in. And if anybody's brave and courageous enough to share your score, go ahead and type it in. I want to see what some of the scores were. Okay, Raphael, 60. That's actually really good. Great job, Raphael. Okay, what else? Anybody else want to share their score? Okay, Franz, 33. Thank you. Bobby, 21. Mark Schindler, wow, 80%. That's incredible. Okay, awesome. Anybody else want to share? Okay, Derek, 55. Wow, you guys are doing great. Bonzella, 31.7. Okay, great. Awesome. Great job, everybody. Thank you for sharing. Duncan, 0. Okay, Duncan, I'm assuming you did not fill out the form. Is that why you have a 0? Okay, awesome. Thanks, Duncan. Okay, cool. So that's the scores, right? And you'll notice on the bottom, it says passing score is 65, just like when we were in school, right? So most people, when they fill out this form, they're not passing. Most people are not even close. And the reality is that's because most people are using the financial system the way that they were taught to by the financial system, which has them doing things that are not efficient, which has the financial system working against them instead of having the financial system work for them. And that's what I'm here to teach you how to do. Have the financial system working for you instead of against you, which is building wealth efficiently, minimizing something called opportunity cost, which is extremely important to understand how to do this when it comes to building wealth. You want to move forward as quickly as you can, right? So this is what we're going to teach you. And that's what the self-assessment form is going to give you an idea of where you're starting on that journey. All right. So let's review a couple of the items on this list. We're going to start with item number 1, line number 1. And I'm not going to go through the details on this, but I just want to show this to you so you can see that you may need to adjust your score. So you see on the screen, it says if you selected 0 or 1 for line number 1, okay, again, if you selected 0 or 1 for line 1, then go through the rest of your form and make sure you also have a 0 for lines 3, 6, 7, 11, and 12, okay? So again, if you have a 0 or a 1 for line 1, make sure you also put a 0 for 3, 6, 7, 11, and 12. And again, I don't have time to dive into the details of that tonight, but there's more to know about using debt strategically. And the important thing that I'll just share high level is the most strategic debt you can use when you're investing in real estate is a 30-year mortgage. Now, banks will entice you and try to get you to do a 15-year mortgage. They'll give you lower interest rates for a 15-year mortgage than a 30 because they want you to choose a 15-year mortgage. Take a guess why. A 15-year mortgage is way more beneficial for the bank, and it actually works against you. it's way more risky for you, and it actually has the financial system working against you. A 30-year mortgage is one of the most powerful tools you can use to build your wealth. And again, I'm not going to dive into the details on that tonight, but just so you know, a 30-year mortgage is the most strategic debt you can use. Maybe not the most strategic, but it is. When you're getting a long-term fixed loan, 30 years is the way you want to go. If you could do 40 years, do 40 years. All right. So just so you know that, that's what you want. All right. So that's all I'll say about that for now. More to learn about that, hopefully at a future date for you, but I'm going to move on. All right. Let's look at line number 2. Line number 2 says, I deposit my paychecks in the following account. It says 0 for a checking or savings account. That's what most people are doing, right? 2 for a brokerage account, or 4 for something called a sweep account. So what is a sweep account? Well, that's what I'm going to dive into tonight. I'm going to go deep into this, and I'm going to teach you how to set up a sweep account. And you're going to see how moving your score just a little bit, you might be at a 0 for line 2, right? You might be at a 3, but or at a 2 rather, but I'm going to teach you all how to get to a number 4 for line number 2. And you're going to see how moving your score just a little bit on this self-assessment form can have a huge impact and significantly increase your wealth over time. All right. I'm going to teach you how to use a sweep account, and it's an absolutely fascinating strategy. So stick around, pay really close attention. All right. So for now, on the screen, you see all these blocks, right? I want you to imagine that all of these blocks are individual financial strategies that you can implement. And I want you to imagine you take one of those blocks and you put it in your hand, and imagine that that strategy would generate $5,000 for you within the next 12 months. We're not talking about a huge sum of money here, right? But just imagine you're going to get $5,000 in the next 12 months, which we can all use an extra $5,000, right? Now, if that's the case, and that strategy is going to mathematically proven generate $5,000 for you in the next 12 months, would it be worth investing $2,000 to have that return? 150% return in 12 months or less. Is that a good investment? Of course, the answer is yes, right? Now, what if you took another strategy, take another one of those strategies and implement it, and that generates $5,000 for you every single year, meaning year after year after year after year, you're going to get $5,000 coming in from a strategy that you implement one time. Would it be worth a $2,000 investment to have that strategy and set that up once and have it on autopilot? Again, this is a no-brainer, right? Of course, the answer is yes. What about another strategy that would generate $100,000 for you within 10 years? Would that be worth a one-time investment of $2,000 to have that strategy set up? And again, this is a rhetorical question, right? This is a no-brainer. Of course, the answer is yes. What about another strategy that would generate a lifetime of tax-free income for you starting in 15 years? I said a lifetime of tax-free income. You heard me right, starting in 15 years. Would that be worth an investment of $2,000 to learn and have that strategy and get that set up? And again, of course, no brainer, right? What about if you had all of these strategies for just a $2,000 investment? Would that be worthwhile? And again, an absolute 100% yes, right? Well, the reason I ask you this and share that with you is, do you realize all of those strategies, and actually many, many more, are built right into that self-assessment form that you filled out before this training tonight? And again, if you didn't fill out the assessment form, make sure you do it afterwards. It is incredibly valuable for you to know where you're starting from. But again, there's literal gold in there when you start looking at these strategies that I'm talking about. And again, I'm going to make a dent in one of those strategies tonight. And the one I'm going to make a dent in is the one that can have a 6-figure difference in your net worth in 10 years or less. So $100,000 difference in 10 years or less from one strategy you set up one time. It's on autopilot working for you. Huge difference. And you're going to see in an example I could show you later how that can actually be well into the 6 figures and possibly even 7-figure difference over time in your net worth from one single strategy set up one time and placed on autopilot. All right. So that's what I'm going to go into tonight. And I'm going to come back to that in just a little bit. All right. So before I dive into that strategy and teach you about that sweep account, let me share with you a little bit more high level about this new paradigm for building wealth that we call hacking finance. All right. Now on the screen, you see these 3 buckets, right? Trading, investing, and saving. Now, these are the traditional methods to build wealth. This is what basically anything you know about to build wealth would fit into one of these 3 buckets, right? And tonight, I'm introducing you to a 4th new method called hacking finance. So let's look at the traditional methods compared to hacking finance just to see how they stack up. All right. Now let's start with trading. And by trading, I mean trading stocks or trading currencies, maybe even trading cryptocurrencies these days. And for those of you who don't know, trading is something that's called a zero-sum game. And a zero-sum game, what that means, quite simply, is that in order for you to win at trading, somebody else has to lose. There is a finite supply. There is no such thing as win-win in trading. It is win-lose. It's a zero-sum game. And when you factor in fees, it actually turns into something called a negative-sum game. But let's just call it a zero-sum game, right? And with trading, it happens to be the most risky of the traditional methods to build wealth. And these days, you're competing against algorithms. You're competing against computers in this win-lose game. So to win at trading is even more difficult than it used to be. So not knocking it. If you choose to do it, go for it. It's just important that we look at it and see how it stacks up. And we just want to see how it stacks up to hacking finance, right? Now, with trading, it's a lifetime commitment. If you want to learn trading and you want to go that route, you're going to have to dedicate your life and keep learning and keep studying and stay on top of it. It's kind of like computer programming, where if you don't do it for a couple months, like the stuff you knew before is kind of obsolete at that point, right? So that is trading. Now let's talk about investing. And again, I'm an investor. George is an investor. We're huge fans of investing. I highly encourage you to keep being investors and keep learning about investing. Join Boston RIA. Join this incredible organization so you can keep learning about investing, so you can network with investors. Stay on this path as investors because it is an extremely valuable and extremely profitable path when done the right way. But can investing be risky? Can you lose money as investors? Yeah, absolutely. 100%, right? We all know that you can lose money as an investor. And if you haven't lost any money as an investor, you probably just haven't been doing it for long enough. That's the reality. So with investing, again, this is another thing that's a lifetime commitment. If you want to keep making money with it, you're going to have to keep doing it. You're going to have to keep investing. You're going to have to keep acquiring more assets and more properties, right? So, and it's a process to learn how to be really successful as an investor. You can learn strategies in a weekend. You know, you could go take a course or read some books. You can get mentorship. But just like anything complex, it takes time in order to really master a complex skill. Malcolm Gladwell wrote a book called The Tipping Point. He says 10,000 hours to master anything complex. So investing is certainly a complex skill, 10,000 hour investment to really master that skill, right? So again, it's a real long commitment to get to that point of mastering this skill of investing. And when you do, it's going to be real profitable and you can get mentorship before then. I highly encourage you as investors, if you're just starting out, get mentorship, right? And Walter shared a really powerful mentoring program. Highly recommend you guys look into that and strongly consider getting a mentor if you're just starting out. I know that's what I did, and it had a huge impact on my life. But anyway, continuing on, I digress. Let's talk about saving. So when we talk about saving, we're talking about extreme frugality. We're talking about, and we all know people like this, that they save every penny that they possibly can. And they spend as little as possible. And again, not knocking it. It's like, you know, but at what cost are we saving? Are we sacrificing our lives? Are we sacrificing our enjoyment and fulfillment in life just so we can eventually someday, hopefully, maybe save enough money so that we can retire and not have to work anymore, right? So there's a much more rewarding way. There's a much more efficient way to do all of this. And that is hacking finance. So tonight I'm introducing you to hacking finance. And hacking finance, the beautiful part about it is it can stand alone on its own. I mean, if you wanted to just learn how to be a finance hacker to build your wealth, you could do that and build a very significant amount of wealth throughout your life. But the beauty of it is this, like I had said earlier, when you combine hacking finance with your investing, what it's going to do is it's going to increase your returns and it's going to decrease your risk more than you can imagine. I mean, your returns are going to go through the roof and your risk is going to go through the floor. And you're going to be building wealth. It's truly win-win-win. So you're going to be having your financial system build your wealth for you, and your investing system is going to build wealth for you even faster. So it's truly win-win-win. When you learn hacking finance, you become a finance hacker, you learn how the whole financial system works, and you put it all together. And that's what we're up to. That's what we want to teach you how to do. So we call this hacking finance. So what exactly is hacking? Hacking, quite simply, and I'm going to share a story with you about George Antone and why he calls this hacking finance. So when George Antone, I told you he was a software developer. That was his first career, right? So George Antone, when he was 15 years old, his dad bought him his first computer. and it was something called a Sinclair or a Spectrum. I never heard of it, but computer programs tend to know what that computer is. And his dad also bought him this book on this programming language called assembly. And apparently this is a pretty challenging programming language to learn. So George gets this computer and this book on this programming language, and he was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever gotten. And George decided in that moment, he wanted to study the computer and the programming language and get this computer to do things it had never done before. So George did that. He went to work studying the computer and studying the programming language and pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. And sure enough, before long, George had created programs and games that had never existed before. So to George, that is what hacking is. Hacking is studying the intricacies of an existing system so that you can learn how to create new possibilities that never existed before within that system. All right, so that is what hacking is to George. So if you've ever used the program Quicken or Quicken Financial Planner, if you've ever played the game SimCity, or if you've ever used the program Microsoft Windows, which is probably every single one of you, then you have benefited from George Antone becoming a software hacker, computer hacker, right? So that's what hacking is to George. We want to be clear about that because there's still a lot of people out there that have a negative connotation for the word hacking because the media has focused on people that are quote unquote hackers, and they are hackers that have done things illegally that have hurt people because of their hacking. So we want you to know that everything we're teaching you here is on the up and up. It's all beneficial. It's all legal. None of it's illegal. We're teaching you all legal strategies here, okay? So then that's what hacking is. So what is hacking finance exactly? Well, hacking finance, quite simply, is studying the intricacies of the financial system so that you can learn how to create new possibilities for your own wealth within the existing financial system. Okay, so that is what hacking finance is. And one of the ideas behind hacking finance is like some martial arts. If you know anything about martial arts like jujitsu or judo or aikido, like these types of martial arts, you want to learn how to use your opponent's strengths for your benefit. Like if your opponent's got a lot of weight and size, or they're really fast, or they're really tall, you want to learn how to use your opponent's strengths for your benefit, right? That's how some martial arts work. Now, hacking finance is the same way. And take a wild guess who our opponent is, who your opponent is. Who do you think your opponent is? Well, if you guess the financial system, you're right. And in case you didn't know this already, I don't want to burst anybody's bubble here tonight, but it's really better you find this out sooner rather than later. So better now than later. And the reality is, again, the financial system is designed to work against us. That's how the financial system is designed, with very powerful forces like inflation, interest, taxes, something called float that you're about to learn about in just a little bit. And there are other very powerful forces in the financial system that are designed to make it very hard for you to move forward financially, to literally have you be financial slaves for the rest of your life to the system. That's how it's designed. And that's why the gap between the wealthy and the middle class is disappearing, right? That's partly because the financial system is designed the way that it is. And so it's designed and wired to work against us. That is our opponent, the financial system. Literally, the way it's designed is like you're swimming upstream financially. Again, even if you're making money, even when you're making money, all those forces are working against you, which has it like you're swimming upstream financially. And imagine for a moment, you're swimming upstream. Imagine how hard you have to paddle when you swim upstream to try to get anywhere, right? You got to paddle really, really hard just to try to make any progress at all. And in fact, you might paddle as hard as you possibly can and just get pushed further downstream. So what this is, what we're opening your eyes to and introducing you to are strategies that can literally have you start swimming downstream financially, getting to a point where you almost literally don't have to paddle at all. And you can move towards your financial goals way faster without hardly working at all because you have the whole financial system working for you. It's like a tailwind instead of a headwind, right? So that's what's going on here. And that's what hacking finance is all about. So you get to make the financial system work for you by hacking finance. And the beauty is anyone can use these shortcuts. We call them shortcuts, financial shortcuts, to legally and significantly impact their financial well-being. All right, so one warning for you before I share this financial strategy with you. And the warning is this: We've all heard the saying, easier said than done, right? We all have heard that. With hacking finance, it's actually the opposite. It's easier done than said. And what I mean by that, these strategies are easier to implement, but harder to understand. And I'm about to teach this strategy to you that, and again, it's a little mind bending. It's really outside the box and it's very creative. And it's mathematically proven to work is what I want to share with you. And it's very easy to implement. It's not complicated to implement at all, but to understand how it actually works mathematically, to understand the mathematics behind it is quite a bit more complicated. And it might have your mind twisted a little bit tonight. But what I want to share with you is this. I gave you this fair warning. You're going to have a lot of questions with what I share with you. I'm going to answer as many of them as I can for you tonight, but I definitely won't be able to give you all of the details about the inner workings of this strategy here tonight. I just don't have enough time, right? For those of you who decide to join our training program, you're going to get all the details. You're going to get all the spreadsheets. You're going to get everything literally that George teaches about all the strategies. And tonight I just have a limited amount of time with you. So I want to share this warning with you, but I do want to tell you this. Because of who George Antone is, because of, I mean, he's literally a genius mathematically and financially. And he has an understanding of mathematics, you know, his knowledge of computer programming, his knowledge of software, his knowledge of mathematics puts him in a position where he's able to mathematically prove or disprove that financial strategies work with some pretty complex mathematical formulas. And George, I want to share this with you as well. George is the biggest skeptic you'll ever meet. What I mean by that is this: when he learns about a new financial strategy or somebody shares a new strategy with him, his first goal, his number one priority is to disprove the strategy. He goes to work mathematically to disprove it. His goal is to disprove it and prove that it does not work. And by that process, the strategies that he proves do actually work mathematically, those are the only things that we teach. So everything that we teach is mathematically proven to work. Okay, so I want to share that with you just so you can understand and just so you can know that, yeah, it's complex to understand. And some people really want to dive into the mathematics and really want to understand the inner workings of these strategies. And other people are just like, just teach me what to do. I trust you that it's mathematically proven. I'll set it up. It's really easy to set up and it's working for me for the rest of my life, right? So I just wanted to give you that fair warning and just share a little bit of that insight with you as well. All right, so that being said, here we go. We're gonna dive into this example of a 6-figure financial shortcut. So again, make sure you pay really close attention here, take really good notes, and hold on to your seats because this is gonna be a wild ride and a journey, and it's a little bit mind-bending. All right, so here we go. And again, this is for line number 2 on your self-assessment form. I'm gonna teach you how to set up a sweep account, which is going to have you all move from whatever you are. Most likely you're at a 0 or a 1. I'm sorry, a 0 or a 3. Most people are at a 0 for line 2. And I'm going to teach you how to get to a line 4. All right. So that's what we're going to do here. And here we go. Let's rock and roll. So I'm going to give you, to teach you this strategy, the tale of 2 neighbors. All right. We have Regular Rob and Smart Sam. These guys are neighbors. They live right next door to each other and they have the same job. They have the same income. They are both homeowners. They have the same number of kids. They bank at the same bank. They have the same mortgage. They sign for it at the same time on the same day. I didn't put this up there, but I want to share it with you. These guys, their wives are actually identical twins as well. I mean, these guys, they made sure that their lives were exactly the same, right? So they live right next door to each other, but there's only one difference between Regular Rob and Smart Sam. And the only difference is this. So they both deposit their paychecks into their respective bank accounts. And the only difference is Smart Sam uses one single financial shortcut. And what Smart Sam does is he transfers his paycheck from his checking account to a line of credit that he set up with his bank, and he uses that line of credit to pay his bills instead of using a checking account like Regular Rob. That's the only difference. And by using this one single financial shortcut, after 10 years, Smart Sam's net worth is 6 figures higher than his neighbor Regular Rob. From 10 years, from one single financial shortcut, and it's a healthy 6 figures, by the way. I'll share with you the exact number in just a little bit. But this is the impact of one single financial shortcut. 6-figure difference after just 10 years, without investing, by the way, without investing. So what's going on here? What is happening here? What's the difference? Well, Smart Sam just used one single simple tweak. And consider this. I'm about to break it down for you. All right. So consider this. Most people deposit their checks into a checking account, right? That's what we've all been taught to do. So we're just doing what we were taught. We put our money in a checking account and it sits there until we pay our bills, right? So let's just use an example. Let's say your money sits in that checking account for 3 out of 4 weeks. Let's say there's 4 weeks in a month, right? So your money's sitting in a checking account for 3 out of 4 weeks. It can be 1 week or 2 weeks, but we'll just say 3 weeks, all right? So after 3 weeks, you pay your bills. The next month, you do the same thing, right? So this is what it looks like. Your money's sitting there in your checking account waiting to pay bills for 3 out of 4 weeks. While your money's sitting in your checking account, is it doing anything for you? No, it's not doing anything for you. Well, it might be earning you 0.1% or even less, right? But once you pay taxes, because guess what? You have to pay taxes on that because it's earned income. You're walking away with almost nothing, right? But take a wild guess, my friends. Who is benefiting tremendously from your money sitting in a checking account? Who benefits from that? The bank does, right? The bank does. And this is called float, okay? While your money sits in a bank account, waiting to pay bills, just sitting there, earning almost nothing, it's called float. F-L-O-A-T, float. And banks use this float to make a whole lot of money off of your hard-earned money while it does nothing for you. And they've conditioned you to use the system this way, right? So this is what it looks like. So that means 3 weeks out of every month, your money's sitting there doing nothing. So every single month, month after month after month after month after month, 3 out of 4 weeks, your money is doing nothing for you, and the bank is using your money to make trillions, literally. Well, maybe not your money to make trillions, but all of our money to make trillions, right? All right, so this is how the system works. This is what's going on for most people. And by this happening every single month, what that means is if you I want you to think about this and span it out over time, right? If you have a 40-year career, which on average, that's most people's career, 40 years. If you have a 40-year career and your money's doing nothing for you for 3 out of 4 weeks every month, how many years is your money doing nothing for you out of 40 years then? 30 years. So that means for 30 out of 40 years, your money is doing nothing for you and benefiting the bank. All because you're using the system the way you were taught to use it, right? So this needs to stop. So the crazy thing is like, well, what if we figure out a way to have float work for us instead of the bank? What if we could figure out a way to have that time while our money's waiting to pay bills working for us instead of the bank, right? So that's what this is all about. And how does this work? Well, it's really purely logical, all right? So I'm going to teach you this strategy now. So again, pay really close attention. And I'm going to give you I'm going to walk you through 3 scenarios to teach you how this sweep account works. All right, so scenario 1. In scenario 1, I want you to imagine you have $5,000 of income that comes in, all right? And if you have $5,000 of income that comes in and you have these 2 buckets to choose from of where you can put your $5,000, you have a 1% bucket on the left and a 6% bucket on the right, which bucket are you going to choose? And this is not a trick question, by the way, not a trick question. So of course, we're going to choose the 6% bucket, right? Simple enough. This one's real easy, no brainer, okay? So we're going to choose 6% over 1% all day, every day, right? All right, so that's scenario 1, simple enough. Now we're going to move on to scenario 2. And in scenario 2, I'm going to put a little twist on this. So again, pay very close attention. All right, so again, you have $5,000 and you have 2 buckets to choose from. Now the 1% bucket, I want you to imagine that's your checking account that's earning you 1%. Now we all know checking accounts are not paying 1%. If yours is, I want to know where you're banking. You probably have a really great relationship with your banker, but checking accounts are not paying 1%, right? But just imagine for a moment that your checking account paid you 1%. And again, like I had just said earlier, do you have to pay taxes on that 1%? The answer is yes, you do, because it's earning you 1%, right? It's considered income. So you wouldn't even walk away with 1%. So that's the left bucket, the 1%. Now the right bucket, I want you to imagine the right bucket, that 6%, that is a line of credit that you set up with your bank, right? Now let's go back to Smart Sam for a moment. Remember Smart Sam, right? We're using Smart Sam as an example of how this strategy works. Now I want you to imagine that Smart Sam has a line of credit set up with his bank And he has an $8,000 balance on that line of credit. All right. So Smart Sam's got this $8,000 balance and he's paying 6% interest on that $8,000 balance. And for those of you who don't know, the way lines of credit work is you pay interest based on your daily balance. Okay. So if your balance was $8,000 for the whole month, you're paying 6% each day on that $8,000 balance. So Smart Sam, because he's such a smart cookie, he says, you know what? I feel like there's something I can do to have this float work for me. So what he does is he takes his $5,000, instead of putting it over here in his checking account where it's doing nothing for him, he says, I've got this line of credit over here and I'm paying 6% interest on an $8,000 balance. So how about I take my $5,000 and I pay my balance of my line of credit down from 8,000 down to 3,000. So for those 3 out of 4 weeks, while my money's waiting to pay bills, now I'm saving 6% tax-free. Saving 6% tax-free. So now my money's working for me while it's waiting to pay bills instead of working for the bank, right? So this is what Smart Sam is doing. And the key thing is here, he still has access to the money, right? He needs the money to pay bills. So with a line of credit, you still have access to the money. It's liquid. You can still pay bills, right? He can't go in and take it and invest it because then it'll be locked up and he doesn't have access to it. And you also, important point here is you want to get a line of credit and make sure you get a line of credit that has check writing capabilities. So you can just stroke a check from your line of credit to pay your bills, okay? So that's a key thing. You want to make sure the line of credit has check writing capabilities. So that is what Smart Sam is doing. And Smart Sam is doing this. And again, after 10 years, his net worth is 6 figures higher than his neighbor Regular Rob from using this strategy. Now, scenario 3. In scenario 3, I'm going to give you all something else. All right. In scenario 3, I'm going to answer a question that I know some of you are asking yourselves right now. And I'm also going to show you another way that this strategy will benefit you. All right. Because I know that some of you are asking yourself the question, why would I want to go set up a line of credit and incur debt and pay any interest at all instead of just have my money sitting in a checking account doing nothing for me, right? I'd rather earn nothing than pay interest at all, right? I know some of you are wondering that question. So I'm going to answer that question for you with scenario number 3. And you're going to see how this strategy can have an even bigger benefit for you than just having float work for you, okay? So with scenario 3, I want you to imagine that Smart Sam's line of credit is paid off, okay? So he's got the line of credit set up. He has access to it, but he has no balance on it, right? So why would he want to put a balance on the line of credit just so he can have float working for him, right? Well, let me show you why. Remember Smart Sam's entire financial scenario, right? Smart Sam and his neighbor Regular Rob, they have that 30-year, $300,000 mortgage, right? So if you don't know this, there's something with a mortgage called amortization, right? And amortization is another real tricky little financial strategy that banks use that have them earn a whole lot of interest off of our hard-earned money, right? And over the course of 30 years, if you have a 30-year, $300,000 mortgage, depending on the interest rate, of course, but you're going to end up paying somewhere around $600,000 in total for that $300,000 mortgage. You're going to pay about double, right? So you're going to pay a lot of interest towards that mortgage over the course of 30 years. So what Smart Sam does, because again, he knows this, he understands this, he understands how the financial system works. He says, you know what? I'm going to use my line of credit to pay off my mortgage faster. So what he does is he writes a check from his line of credit to his mortgage, and he transfers some debt from the mortgage over to the line of credit. And we're going to say he pays off $20,000 of principal from his mortgage and transfers that $20,000 over to the line of credit. So now he's got a balance on the line of credit. He can use his income to pay down the balance and have float working for him. But what this does, by taking a big chunk out of the mortgage, and then once his balance of the line of credit is paid off, he'll take another big chunk out of the mortgage. And he'll keep doing this over and over and over. And by doing this, what he's doing is he's propelling himself forward on what's called the amortization table. And by doing this, taking big chunks out at a time, Now, every payment he makes towards his mortgage, guess what? More money is going towards principal and less is going towards interest. So by doing this and taking big chunks out, he's propelling himself forward on the amortization table, and he's going to pay off that mortgage way faster with this strategy. And he also has float working for him at the same time. So it's a double benefit going on here. He's saving interest on the mortgage, and he has float working for him the whole time too. So by using this strategy, and you want to go set this strategy up tomorrow, my friends, okay? Go get it set up tomorrow. But by using this strategy, Smart Sam, after 10 years, is mortgage free. 30-year, $300,000 mortgage completely paid off after 10 years. Guess what? His neighbor, Regular Rob, still owes over $250,000 on that original mortgage after 10 years. That is over $250,000 difference in their net worth after 10 years from using one single simple financial shortcut. Smart Sam did not invest. He didn't risk losing any of his money. He just used a legal loophole in the financial system. He was smart and he was strategic. He used the system efficiently. He had things working for him with one single simple shortcut. Over $250,000 difference after 10 years without investing. This is a tiny little peephole view into hacking finance and what it's all about. And I'm going to expand a lot more on this in just a little bit. So the question is, great, Smart Sam is now free and clear on his home. What should he do now? What do you think he should do now at this point that he's free and clear? And the answer is, I'll give you the answer, again, since I can't hear you. The answer is he should refinance. He should get another 30-year, $300,000 mortgage, or even more. If the house is worth more after 10 years, make sure he has the right amount of leverage, the right loan to value, but he should get another 30-year mortgage. Remember I said earlier, a 30-year fixed interest rate mortgage is one of the most powerful tools you can use. That's going to have inflation working for you, okay? So it's a very powerful tool to use. Our finance hackers, our community, they understand exactly how this works, right? So you want to have that strategic debt in place, and you want to keep using this sweep account strategy, right? So you want to keep having float work for you, keep using the line of credit, keep having that 30-year fixed interest rate mortgage in place, right? So that's what Smart Sam should do next. Refinance, get another 30-year mortgage set up, and keep doing the same thing over and over and over, okay? So the bottom line here, my friends, is this. While your money is waiting to pay bills, you can use it more efficiently, which will allow you to pay off debt faster, saving a ton of interest, and increasing your net worth significantly without investing. You have float working for you, you're saving interest, you're paying down debt faster, all with one single shortcut. And this is all just set up at your local bank. You just go set up a line of credit. That's it. You go set up a line of credit, make sure it has check writing capabilities. Obviously, if it's a secured line of credit, even better, because you're going to get better terms on that, but it can even be unsecured. You can make this work with almost any line of credit, okay? Now, there's a point where the interest rate on the line of credit will get too high to where it'll be kind of challenging to make it work, but there's a lot of other things in order to make this really optimized that I don't have time to give you all the details about this tonight. I wish that I did. There's some other nuances to really tweak it and really optimize this strategy, but I'm giving you enough here to go get this set up tomorrow. That is my goal. I want you to be able to set this strategy up tomorrow and have it start working for you, okay? Go get a line of credit set up and get this strategy working for you. It is extremely powerful. All right, so we have all these different strategies, literally dozens of them. I'm talking like 24 plus strategies, financial shortcuts that are going to have the financial system work for you. So we have to name all of them just so we can keep track of them and know which one is which. So this particular strategy, George Antone calls the master sweep account. And we call it a master sweep account because basically your line of credit acts as a sweep account. All your money is going to get swept in and then money is going to get swept out. So money gets swept in and money gets swept out. So you're just constantly sweeping money in and out of this line of credit. So we call it the master sweep account. All right. So we call this the master sweep account. And this is one of our students who shared within our private online group the results she was getting from using this strategy. So I'm going to read this for you real quick so you can see the impact, real results from a real person who's using this strategy. All right. And this woman's name is Andrea. And Andrea says that moment you realize you need to write another check from your MSA, the MSA is the master sweep account, to your mortgage. She says, I keep thinking this is too good to be true. The MSA can't work this well. Well, it does work this well. I've been utilizing the technique for about 1.5 years, and every time I pay down the HELOC's a home equity line of credit. That's what she's using as the master sweep account. So she says, every time I pay down the HELOC, I write another $5,000 to $10,000 check to my mortgage. I expect to have my $260,000 mortgage paid off in roughly 6 more years. And did I mention I haven't changed my budget by one single penny? The grocery budget didn't change. The travel budget didn't change. I still save the same amount. Somehow this MSA churns away and works for me while I sleep. Good stuff. As always, thanks to George for teaching financial hacks that contribute to financial freedom. So this is Andrea, right? So she's been using the master sweep account for 1.5 years. She's got 6 more years to go to pay off her 30-year mortgage. So 7.5 years total to pay off her 30-year mortgage. Okay. So let's look at Andrea's results on a timeline, and imagine Andrea had a neighbor like Regular Rob, right? So just like Smart Sam's got Regular Rob, imagine Andrea's got that same kind of neighbor. The neighbor's going to just pay bills through the checking account, is going to just pay the minimum on the mortgage, is just going to do things the way that most people are doing them, right? Now let's look at the impact of Andrea using one single shortcut, this master sweep account, over the course of 30 years. Okay, 30-year timeline. So 7.5 years into this, Andrea is free and clear, and she's going to refinance just like I said Regular Rob should do, right? I'm sorry, just like I said Smart Sam should do. So Andrea, again, she's a finance hacker. She knows the value of having a 30-year fixed interest rate mortgage. She's going to refinance and get another mortgage on her home. Her neighbor, guess what? The neighbor's still got a long way to go to pay off that $260,000 mortgage, right? So Andrea is free and clear after 7.5 years. Now let's assume for this entire timeline, the value of her property doesn't go up at all, and her financials don't change at all. So each time she pays down the mortgage and pays it off, she's just going to pull out $260,000. All right. So after 7.5 years, she pulls out $260,000 tax free. That's 7.5 years in. She now has $260,000 in her pocket tax free. Because it's a loan, it's not income. So she's not paying taxes on this money. That's in her pocket to do whatever she wants to do with it. Another 7.5 years goes by. She's free and clear again. Neighbor's still paying that original mortgage. She refinances a second time. And now Andrea's got $520,000 in her pocket tax-free after 15 years from this one single strategy. Another 7.5 years goes by, 22.5-year mark. She refinances for a third time. The neighbor, of course, is still paying that original mortgage. Andrea now has $780,000 tax-free in her pocket. Now we're finally at year 30. The neighbor's doing the happy dance, finally has his mortgage paid off, right? Andrea refinances for a fourth time and now has over $1 million tax-free in her pocket after 30 years from this one single, simple financial shortcut. One shortcut. And there are dozens of these shortcuts to learn. And I didn't say anything about what Andrea is doing with that money when she pulls it out. And do you realize that if Andrea combined this one shortcut with just one other shortcut we teach out of dozens that there are to learn, if she combined this with one other shortcut and did the most efficient thing with the money, that's not investing, by the way, not investing, over the same 30-year period, Andrea would have over $8 million more net worth. $8 million after 30 years from two strategies, two financial shortcuts. This is what hacking finance is, my friends. You're starting to see, hopefully, why the rich are getting richer and everyone else is getting poorer. This is why, because they understand how the financial system works. They understand how to make the financial system work for them instead of having it work against them. They understand how to have these powerful forces working for them, right? Now, the thing is here too, I just want to share this. You wouldn't have to wait until the home is free and clear or the debt's paid off to benefit and have more cash in your pocket, right? You can pull out money as this process is going. Maybe you're pulling more money out every year, every 2 years, right? We have students that are pulling out 50 grand, 70 grand every year from this strategy. It's 50, 70 grand in their pocket every single year from this one single shortcut, the master sweep account, right? And again, there's so much more to learn and so much more to know. But I really want you to start seeing the impact of this over time, right? When you start compounding this, and then when you start combining all the other ones together, the results you're going to get are more than you could possibly imagine. It'll absolutely blow your mind, the mathematics behind this. So again, this one decision affected what Smart Sam's life looked like, and it's just a simple tweak in the system. And Andrea's life and all of our students that are using these strategies, their lives are tremendously impacted because they're learning these strategies. They're learning how the financial system works. They're learning how to make it work for them, and their financial lives will never be the same again. And the amount that they're able to do and the amount of, number one, peace of mind that they have, this is what we're all about. We teach something called financial happiness. Our goal as a company is to have people create financial happiness. And what that means is you have peace of mind, you have a financial system that's set up where you know no matter what happens, you're good. Your financial system is set up, you're building wealth on autopilot, and it's rock solid. And no matter what, you're going to be good to go, right? This is what we're all about as a company. And the beauty is anyone can use the same shortcut to pay student loans, car loans, or any debt. This doesn't just work for mortgages, okay? I know you're all real estate investors, use it for your mortgages, but you can use this strategy for other debt too. If you have other debt that you're working on paying off, you may want to pay off that debt first. You may want to keep your mortgage in place. If you have a 3% interest rate mortgage or a 3.5% interest rate mortgage that's fixed for 30 years, you may want to keep that in place and pay some other debt off first. That's probably what you're going to want to do, right? And I want you to know this strategy can work for pretty much any other debt that you want to pay off, all right? So, and again, this is one of many, many financial shortcuts that any of us can use, any of you can do, right? There's so many of them to learn. So I'm sure some of you are wondering at this point, great, you're talking about these other shortcuts. What are they? Tell us about them. So let me just tell you about them. And I know I've got about 25 minutes left. And I gave you more details on that strategy and went into some more details. I'm going to fly for the next 25 minutes. All right. So pay really close attention, but I'm just going to go through this real quick, give you some high level, what these other shortcuts are. And then we're going to wrap it up. All right, cool. So other shortcuts in the financial system. Do you realize that even with hard work, inflation always pulls you back, but with a simple tweak, inflation can work for you and increase your net worth automatically. Inflation is what they call the silent wealth killer, my friends. And the government tells us that inflation is 2 to 3% a year. And again, hate to burst your bubble, but the government's not always being honest with us, okay? And if you want to know what real inflation is, go to this website called shadowstats.com. Okay, shadowstats.com. You can see what real inflation is backed by real numbers, real data, what the consumer price index is, and real inflation. Hold on to your seats. Real inflation is 9 to 10% per year. Compounding. Do you know what that does to your ability to move forward financially? Do you know what kind of returns you have to create in your investments just to actually be increasing your purchasing power over time because of that? It's astronomical. So you need to learn how to have inflation work for you if you want to be building wealth efficiently, right? There's another shortcut to learn how to do that. Do you realize that another one here, banks use a powerful principle to increase yields, and you can easily replicate that principle in your local bank to benefit you. You can generate double-digit returns. I'll say it again, double-digit returns in your local bank account without investing, just by simply using a proven 200-year-old loophole discovered by someone that Forbes magazine calls the founding father of international finance. Okay, it's Mayer Rothschild is who that person is. Think that guy knew a thing or two about finance and building wealth? Yeah. So this strategy is extremely powerful. And this is one that George, when he learned about this, he's like, no way that this is true. I'm going to prove this doesn't work. And George went to work mathematically to prove it doesn't work, and sure enough proved that it does work. And it is mathematically proven to work. Extremely, extremely powerful. Another one, do you realize the most important and powerful financial strategy for families today is only known by a few? Only known by a few. And this strategy, called the family bank, only wealthy people are typically doing this. This is something you can do as well, that George teaches extremely brilliantly how to set this up, that anyone can use this strategy to be building generational wealth. Okay, building generational wealth over time, and not only building wealth and passing down wealth to the next generation, but also passing down knowledge and building stronger relationships and having your whole family be involved in the process of the family bank. It is an absolutely beautiful process, and George teaches it brilliantly. Another strategy here, Mitt Romney. You guys know Mitt Romney, former governor of Massachusetts. This guy paid a 14.1% effective tax rate in 2011 legally. That is a lower effective tax rate than most Americans, and most people can use one of his genius strategies to generate tax-free passive income if they simply learned it. This was being talked about on CNN a number of years ago. There were two guys that were talking about it. And the one guy says, you know, this is really ridiculous. We need to raise the tax rates of the wealthy. And the other guy just laughed. He's like, you obviously don't get it. You don't know what's actually going on here, because it's not about their tax rates. The ultra wealthy know how to make the system work for them. They know the legal loopholes. They know the shortcuts. And you can raise his tax rate all you want. He knows how to lower his effective tax rate by using these creative strategies. And that is the reality, my friends. This is what is going on. This is how the wealthy do it. They know how to make the system work. They know the shortcuts. They know the loopholes. And you know what? It's time that you learn them too. And this is available for you. This is what hacking finance is all about, is learning how to make the system work for you, learning the shortcuts, learning the loopholes, right? So this is what we're up to. So as a company, the name of our company is Finance, right up here at the top and on the bottom. We spell it with a quirky spelling, but we pronounce it finance. Okay. So as a company, we find and research these financial shortcuts. The ones that are mathematically proven, we document and share them with our community. And we are building the world's largest community of finance hackers. Right? And hopefully at this point, you see why we call ourselves finance hackers, right? We are learning how to make the financial system work for us, and we're teaching people how to do it, right? So I've been calling these shortcuts, these strategy shortcuts in our system, in our training system, which is called Finance Academy, by the way. The whole training system that George has built, we call it Finance Academy. In Finance Academy, we call these financial shortcuts building blocks, okay? And the reason we call them building blocks is they can all work on their own. Like the Master Sweep account that I just taught you, that can work alone on its own. But when you start combining these building blocks together in the right way, the most strategic and the most synergistic way, they're going to be extremely synergistic together. And an example of synergy is like when 1 + 1 = 3 instead of 2, right? That's an example of what synergy is. That's what starts happening with these building blocks. When you start combining all these things together in the right way, and we're going to teach you how to do that, the results you're going to get is going to be exponentially compounding your wealth as you move forward. It is absolutely fascinating how this all works. So this is what Finance Academy looks like for our members who log in. So when they log in, this is what they see. And each of these boxes is a module. It's all digital video training. George teaching you, walking you through PowerPoints and teaching you the strategies and teaching you step-by-step how to implement everything. So that's what Finance Academy is. And each of these boxes, when you click on it, it opens up another page with all the modules and all the different training. You get all the spreadsheets, you get different exercises to do, you get all the resources. So that this way you can really understand the strategies and have the calculators to figure out how to set them up for you in your personal situation, right? But I want you to see here, these black boxes on the bottom, these are the building blocks, all right? And again, there are dozens of building blocks inside of Finance Academy. This is just a few of them. This is another screenshot of another page. So you see more building blocks. And these green boxes, these are what we call integration blocks. And the integration blocks, that's where George is going to teach you how to combine the building blocks together for maximum efficiency and maximum results, okay? So that's just a little sneak peek into what Finance Academy looks like when you log in. And let me just share with you some common questions, all right? Some common questions. Why don't I know about this? How is it possible? I've never heard about this before. The bottom line is because nobody gets paid a commission on this, right? When you learn these strategies, you're going to be implementing them yourselves. And take a wild guess, another huge thing that makes the financial system so profitable for the system, commissions and fees, right? When you use the system the way they teach you to use the system, they are taking commissions, they are taking fees from you, and it is extremely profitable for the system, and it makes it harder for you to move forward. So they don't want you to know how to do things yourself. That's the bottom line. They want you to use their services so they can charge you commissions and fees. That is the reality, my friends. Another question here. I don't invest. Can I still use this? The answer is yes, absolutely. If you don't invest, You can 100% learn how to be a finance hacker and build a significant amount of wealth in your life without ever investing. But obviously you're all here with Boston RIA. Again, I encourage you to stay part of Boston RIA, join the group, join the community, become a member, benefit from all they're doing, the education, the networking, all the different discounts you get, all the things. Look, I've been a member of RIA since I started my real estate career. It has been one of the most valuable things that I've ever done, is to be part of an organization, part of a group, part of a network that's going to help you. So I highly encourage you to keep investing, join Boston RIA, get all the education, get the connections, all those things, right? So obviously you're investors, you're going to keep on that path. So again, I'll say this again. I said it earlier. I am an investor. Can I still use this? Yes, 100%. These strategies are going to have your returns go through the roof and your risk go through the floor. It's going to benefit your investments, and you're going to learn how to be more successful as investors because you understand how the whole financial system works. It's going to help you with your investing as well. Another question: I need an income now or very soon. So I want to be really clear about this. Please listen closely. Okay? Please listen closely. If you are here tonight at this meeting because you're in a situation where you need to figure out how to bring in some income to pay your bills, now's not the time for you to do this. Okay? I want to be real clear about this. Some of the strategies we're going to teach you are going to generate income for you, but they all take some time to take effect and start bringing in that income. None of the strategies we teach are going to start generating income for you right away. Okay? So if you're here tonight and you need to figure out how to make income to survive and keep a roof over your head and food on the table, get that handled first, and then come back and start learning all these hacking finance strategies. Okay? But if you're here and as long as you have enough income to pay your bills, as long as you're paying your bills every month, and it can be active income from a job, or it can be investment income from your real estate or something else. It can be any type of income. And as long as you have enough to pay your bills, start learning these strategies. This will work for you. This will have you start building wealth on autopilot by having the financial system work for you. Okay? All right, next question. I have debt. Can I use this? Absolutely. We're going to teach you how to pay down debt faster. We're going to teach you which debt to pay off before the others. We're going to teach you all about debt and how it works and how to use it strategically. All right, and how to pay it down a lot quicker. Next question. I'm debt free. Can I still use this? Absolutely. If you are debt free, likely that means you have a larger borrowing capacity. That means you can borrow more money at more favorable terms. Again, we're going to teach you how to leverage that and how to use that to build your wealth. All right. Strategic debt is one of the most powerful tools you can use to build wealth, but it can also have you crash and burn financially if you don't know how to use it. So it's important you know how to use it. We're going to teach you all about it. Okay. Another question. What resources will I need for this? Really simple. All you need is a computer or a smart device with an internet connection. And our recommendation is you dedicate 6 hours per month. You can break it up into as little as 30-minute increments. That is enough time to learn and implement one strategy a month. One building block a month. That's our recommendation. You can do more if you want or less. It's up to you. But that is literally all that you need for this program to work for you. Okay? All right. So those are some common questions. Let me share with you some testimonials from some of our other students. What are other people saying about Finance Academy? And then I'm going to share with you an absolutely incredible offer for you to join Finance Academy. All right. So hang in there. We're getting to it. 15 minutes left here. I'm cranking. I hope you're cranking too. I hope you're enjoying this. I'm going to just share with you real quick some testimonials. All right. So this is Rita Beebe. Rita says, as an extremely busy realtor in Southern California, I have gone through more courses than I can count, always trying to stay one step ahead of the game when it comes to investing and saving money for my family and clients. Can anybody relate to that? I know that I sure could. And I've invested in more courses and more trainings and more mentoring and more coaching than I can possibly count. So we're all here because we're committed, right? So I know we can all relate to that, right? And then Rita says, then I was introduced to Finance Academy. Talk about brilliant. Wow, I am now 100 plus steps ahead of the game. This is by far the easiest, most powerful and unique program I have ever seen, and it's all in one place, which is great for my busy lifestyle. The step-by-step actionable strategies that you can implement immediately or at your own pace are so easy anyone can understand and do them. I stress a lot about my family's financial future, and now I feel like a huge weight has just been lifted off my shoulders. I cannot thank you enough for this program. I will be telling everybody I know about Finance Academy. Okay, awesome. So this is Mike. Mike says, I just got financed last week. I love what I've seen so far. The best part is that one payment from the master sweep account to my mortgage will easily save me more than the cost of the course. Plus, there's a lot more to do. And this is common. This is like typical results. You implement one strategy. Our recommendation is master sweep account first, and then we kind of have them in order for you. But you implement one strategy. It will pay for the entire course of the program. And then you've got all the rest is literally infinite returns beyond that point. Okay. So this is pretty common here. All right. Next one here. Todd Brewington says the family bank and master sweep account concepts have changed our financial lives. Recapturing interest that would be lost has accelerated our debt payoff, and using strategic debt has helped me finance a new business venture that generates great passive income. Awesome. The next one here, Patrick Woolley says, George, your financial education should be required in every school. I personally agree with that. And unfortunately, I don't think that will ever happen. So you got to get your alternative education in order to learn these types of things. But he says it has shown me how to use little tweaks that add up to huge savings. Incredible knowledge. I wish I had stumbled upon this years ago. Look, I want to share something with you. I love what Patrick says here. And the thing I love is at the end, I've been a master trainer for George Antone for the last 6 years, traveling around to all the biggest RIAs all over the country for the last 6 years and speaking to RIAs. I have taught workshops, and I've met and connected with thousands and thousands and thousands of investors. Every range of investor you can imagine. The most seasoned, 30, 40 years, full-time investors to newbies that are just starting out. And I've been teaching them George's strategies and George's training. I cannot tell you how many times I have heard what Patrick says here. The stuff that George is teaching, nobody else is teaching. And it is absolutely groundbreaking, life-changing knowledge and information. So what Patrick says here, I wish I had stumbled on this years ago. I have heard that literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times by the people that we teach. Everybody that starts learning this stuff is like, man, I wish I learned. Imagine where I'd be if I learned this 5 years ago. And the reality is this, none of us can go back in time. If you can, find me, private message me. I think I probably want to invest in whatever you're up to there. I'm into time travel. Let's do it. But we can't go back in time, right? We can only go forward. So we can only make better decisions from this point forward as to what to do with our time and where to spend our time and resources, right? So this is about opportunity cost. Whenever we find a new opportunity, we look back like, man, I'm kicking myself because I realize how much more I could have made and how much further along I could be if I just learned this years ago, right? So that is what Patrick is saying, and that is the reality of what George Antone is teaching, is that the best time to learn it is now, right? They say the best time to plant the tree is 20 years ago. The second best time is today. That's the reality with these types of strategies. You want to learn them and get them implemented as soon as you possibly can, okay? So I just have 2 more or 3 more testimonials here. This is Javier Heredia. It says, amazing update. In 5 months using the MSA strategy, I have reduced debt by $37,660. And again, this is great results, but it's not uncommon for our students to be getting these types of results. These strategies are extremely powerful. And these he's not paying extra payments. He's not doing it because he's making more money. He's just using the strategies the way we teach, not investing, and having a huge impact on his net worth. Mike Fresh says, life-changing. I think it's the first thing to say. Not only are the building blocks amazing, but I feel the biggest game changer is how it changed our thinking. It has allowed us to be in a position to help others just with our knowledge. How do you eat an elephant? How do you change the world? Help one person at a time. This has put probably all of us in a position to really change our world. Thank you, George Antone. Thank you, team. And I love what Mike says here. I love what Mike says, because something that is important for all of you to know about who we are, who George Antone is, who I am, who we are as a community, what we're up to in the world, is we're up to helping people and teaching people to create financial happiness, to build lives of financial abundance and peace of mind, so that this way they don't have to stress about money ever again. That's what we're up to. But at the foundation, not but, I want to say and, at the foundation of what we're doing is we want people to know that money is not going to give you happiness and fulfillment. What you're able to do with that money and your time is what's going to give you true happiness and true fulfillment. And making a difference in other people's lives and contributing to other people is what truly creates a life of fulfillment. And what Mike Fresh says here really hammers that point home. And this is what we're all about. So just so you know, if you join our community, if you decide to join our community and become a finance hacker and get connected with us, this is who we are and this is what we stand for, is making a difference in other people's lives, okay? Get your life handled first. We're going to teach you how to do that and then make a difference in other people's lives, all right? So I love what Mike says there. This guy, Sandor, this is the last testimony I'll read for you. This guy's a gym teacher, phys ed teacher at a high school. And I love what he has to say because he was super skeptical about joining Finance Academy. He's like, I'm not a numbers person. He's like, numbers is not my thing. So I don't think this is for me. But we give him money back guarantee. He's like, you know what? I'll give it a shot. I've got nothing to lose. And what he found out really quickly is you don't have to be a numbers person for this to work for you. It's easy to implement these strategies. Again, harder to understand, but easy to implement. So he's getting incredible results. And he says, I was able to pay off $30,000 in debt in 1 year. It was supposed to take 6 by using a combination of the family bank, master sweep account, credit card float, and our financing system. Every time I feel like I fully understand a concept, someone posts something or shares another way to benefit from that concept. The depths of the strategies are mind-blowing. So I love what Sandor says. This guy's awesome. And he says something really interesting here. We've got this great community of people that are all about helping each other and a lot of brilliant people within our community, people all over the country. And they're constantly sharing insights and different tips and tricks and strategies, different banks to use, all these things, right? So Sandor really highlights the value of our community. Our community is super interactive, tons of brilliant people all over the country. And Sandor is really getting value from that. So, all right, so next steps. At the end of the day, you are all invited to join our community and become a finance hacker, okay? This is open to all of you. And I highly encourage you to do it to improve your financial life. So for those of you who decide to join, these are the next steps after you join. So as a member, you get access to the dozens of building blocks. You're going to watch the Start Here training that explains the big picture and join that private online community I was just talking about. The next step is you're just going to dedicate 6 hours per month in as little as 30-minute increments to learn and implement the building block. You set it on autopilot. We teach you exactly how to do it. And then you move on to the next building block. You do that once a month, and you're just going to keep getting building blocks set up. And it's 6 hours a month, okay? This is not a lot of time we're talking about here. You get to keep doing your investing and keep doing all your other things, but you're slowly but surely rebuilding your personal finance system so that the financial system is now working for you and building your wealth on autopilot. All right. The next step, step 4, is you watch as these strategies catapult you towards your financial goals and you leap ahead of most people as you progress. People are going to be blown away by your knowledge. And look, it's not about impressing people with your knowledge, okay? What it is about is helping people. And guess what happens when you start talking about the things you're doing, and it's stuff that most people have no idea even exists. People are going to be like, what on earth are you talking about? And they're going to be like, I'm interested in learning more about that because you're getting incredible results, right? And then guess what? You're going to get to share this with the people you love. You're going to get to share this with your family and your friends. And you're going to get to introduce them to hacking finance and have a huge impact on their lives also. Okay. So that's step 4. And then step 5 is we keep contributing more building blocks for you to implement as we discover them. Usually once a quarter, George is in there adding more strategies and adding more building blocks. Okay. So with this program, there is no need to budget, no need to invest in distressed real estate, no need to invest in stocks and bonds, no need to invest in anything that requires a time commitment, no need to sell products and services. There's nothing wrong with any of these things. It's just not required for this program, okay? And as a Finance Academy member, you are going to receive dozens of building blocks and all these integration blocks to learn how to combine them all together, all right? And I'm just going to share with you again, high level, what some of those building blocks are. The master sweep account, I taught you about this tonight. We call this a $100,000 plus building block. It is fully automated, set up at your local bank. We're going to teach you how to use the power of floats to work for you. So you can have float working for you and also pay down debt in a third to a half of the time without making additional payments. Okay. So another one here, financing system. This is another 100,000 plus building block, fully automated, set up at your local bank, super easy. This is the one that was discovered 200 years ago by someone that Forbes magazine called the founding father of international finance, Mayer Rothschild. I told you, you're going to generate double-digit returns without investing from your local bank account. Super powerful. Another one here, insurance arbitrage building block, 500,000 plus building block, fully automated. You notice this is not done at your local bank, but it's just one phone call away. We'll give you somebody you can reach out to get this set up. This is going to teach you how to use the power of arbitrage to generate tax-free income starting in 15 years and also increase your net worth by over $500,000. This is literally like planting a seed in your filing cabinet. You literally water it once a year, and in 15 years, you have this huge money tree that's going to pay you tax-free passive income for the rest of your life. Extremely powerful strategy. Another one here, inflation arbitrage building block, 250,000 plus. Fully automated, done at your local bank. This is where you're going to learn how to make the compounding power of inflation, build your wealth for you on autopilot, and align your interests with the Federal Reserve. Guess what, my friends? The Federal Reserve has been printing money more in the last 10 years than ever before, and even more so in the last 6 months since COVID. You know what happens when we print more money? Inflation goes up. We are heading into a time, most likely, don't quote me on this, but we are likely heading into hyperinflation. Hyperinflation. Is it really important to learn how to have this extremely powerful force work for you? You better believe it. So there's a shortcut you can use to have this strategy and have this powerful force work for you. Okay? Inflation arbitrage. Self-insurance building block. So 50,000 plus, fully automated, done at your local bank. Use the same risk shifting method that insurance companies use to pay less money while having more and better insurance. At the end of the day, we need to have insurance. We got to have the right insurance in place. Most people are one disaster or one accident away from being completely wiped out financially because they don't have the right insurance. So it's important while you're building wealth that you set yourself up to be protected. So you want to have the right insurance. And obviously, we all want to pay the least amount of money for our insurance and have the best insurance possible, right? So we're going to teach you how to do it with this building block. All right. And there's many, many more building blocks. I'm just showing you like 5 or 6. There's dozens of them. Okay. Dozens of building blocks for you to learn and implement inside of Finance Academy. When you join, you're also going to get access to the private online community of finance hackers. You're going to get to network with people all over the country, people in your local market, connect, ask questions, get answers, all those good things. The value of this program, if you implemented just one of the many building blocks and set it on autopilot, you're going to generate and increase your net worth by tens of thousands, if not 100,000 plus in a relatively short period of time. Okay, that's just one building block. You're going to be implementing dozens of them. All right, so the value of this program speaks for itself, and it's all mathematically proven to work. All right, there's no way that it can't work as long as you do it. As long as you set these strategies up, they will work for you and increase your net worth a lot. Okay, and some of them will generate income for you after time as well. So all this stuff is proven to work, and the value is really high, right? The membership dues on our website is only $12.97 for a year. It's an annual membership program. So $12.97, that gives you access to all of this stuff for a full year. All right. We're going to give you a better deal here tonight because you're part of Boston RIA. Okay. Because you're here with Boston RIA, we're going to give you a pretty significant discount. So stick around till the end, and I'm going to share with you what that is. Before I share with you what that discount is, I'm going to share with you what some of the bonuses are. So for those of you who take action and join Finance Academy today, we're going to give you some really amazing bonuses. And here's what they are. And I know I'm at time, so I just want to check in real quick. I got another 5 minutes or so to get through this. Duncan, is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Thank you, Duncan. I appreciate it. All right. If you got to go, you got to go. I'm sorry I'm running over, but stick around for another 5 minutes and see what the bonuses are, see what this incredible price I'm going to give you on this program is. And apologies for running over on time. I'm going as fast as I can. Okay, here we go. Mastering the Inner Game of Money. This is a bonus that we're including. So this Mastering the Inner Game of Money course, this is going to teach you how to overcome limiting beliefs about money, write your new money story, and truly unlock your full potential. Look, we all know that building wealth, creating success in life, it's not just about the know-how and the strategies, right? We've got this whole inner game going on, our mindset, our beliefs, our past experiences, our emotional ties to money, all these things, right? So George Antone went out and found the best program he could find on this topic to teach you about this and help you rewrite your story. And he licensed it so he can include it as a bonus. That's what this is. This is valued at $497 for this program. Another one here, not so relevant today, but hopefully it will be in the near future again, interview with a travel hacker. So one of our students is a travel hacker. He has learned how to travel around the world for next to nothing. George interviewed him. He shares the exact websites he uses to find crazy, incredible deals. And we're going to give you this interview as a bonus as well. It's valued at $97. Another bonus here, we're going to give you access to all 3 of George Antone's best-selling books, The Wealthy Code, The Banker's Code, and The Debt Millionaire. These books have gold in them for you as investors. You want to read these books. Trust me, you're an investor. Make sure you read these books. We're going to include them for you as a bonus. There'll be ebooks in your library inside of Finance Academy. The value of these ebooks is $37, okay? Now we're going to include a mega bonus, which is 2 optional tickets as a mega bonus to attend this live 3-day event called Hacking the Financial Matrix. This is taught by George Antone live and in person. Now, since COVID, we've done this virtually, and it's worked incredibly well virtually. Once we're back to being live, which is hopefully soon, God willing, you can attend it live. There may be virtual events as well. You get to pick and choose. But you're going to get 2 tickets to attend this live 3-day event, whether it's virtual or live and in person. This is with George Antone for 3 full days. And what you're going to learn at this event is some of the most advanced Jedi financial strategies only known by bankers. This is a quote from one of our students who happens to be the president of a board of directors of a bank. Okay, this guy knows about banking. He knows about finance. He knows about how the banking industry works and how the financial system works. This is what he said after he attended this 3-day event. It is extremely powerful. You're going to learn how to see, beat, and escape the financial matrix live and direct by George Antone. You're going to learn powerful new strategies to take your finance hacking game to the next level, network and connect with other finance hackers, and really maximize your ability to create financial happiness. This is not the same strategies that are in Finance Academy. These are different strategies that George is going to teach you at this 3-day event. So it's optional to attend, but I highly, highly recommend that you attend. It will blow your mind, just like the rest of the program. This is valued at $19.97 for these 2 tickets. All right. So at this point, most people are like, you know what? I realize that I need these strategies. I need to learn how to have the financial system work for me. I'm shooting myself in the foot if I don't. I don't want to keep swimming upstream financially. Teach me how to swim downstream financially. So if that is you and you're like, you know what? I'm going to join. I want to learn these strategies. Right at the bottom of the screen is where you're going to go to get yourself registered and join Finance Academy. You'll see the discounted price I'm going to offer you here in just a little minute. It's financelive.com/Boston. Okay. And Duncan, would it be possible for somebody to just type that into the chat box? I don't know if the link will show up.
Yeah, I've done that, Paul.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks so much, Duncan.
We have
All right.
quite a few questions though.
Yeah. So I just got 2 more minutes here real quick, and then we'll dive into some questions. Is that all right?
Yep, that's fine.
Okay, cool. All right. So if you know you want to join, head on over now and get yourself registered. Those first 3 bonuses I mentioned is only going to be for the first 10 people. So get over there now if you want all the bonuses and get yourself registered. Be one of the first 10. Okay. If you're on the fence and you're like, I'm not sure, you have some concerns. It's usually one of these 3 concerns that you see on the screen, which is why people, don't take action, right? Money, time, and doubt. So let me just address these real quick for you. Let's start with money. If you have a money concern, the reality is you are paying for this indirectly due to lack of knowledge, right? Right now, literally as you sit there and literally every second of every day of your life, you are losing money to financial institutions, the government, and others because you do not know these strategies, okay? So the average American loses over $250,000 over the course of their career just to financial institutions because they don't have this information. So the bottom line is you're going to pay for this either way. You get to decide. Pay the expensive way, the very, very, very expensive way, which is lack of knowledge. And unfortunately, that's most people. Or you can pay the much cheaper way, which is join Finance Academy, get these strategies, set them up. They're on autopilot the rest of your life. And now you have the financial system working for you forever. Okay. So it's your choice. In our opinion, it's a very simple one. Okay. So that's money. Now time. Let's talk about time. We all have a scarcity of time, right? We all have so many things to do, not enough time in the day. That's just the reality of life these days. It's a very busy world we live in, but this is self-paced training, right? So you get to go from the comfort of your own home at your own pace. And we recommend 6 hours per month. You can do less than that if you want to or need to. Look, at the end of the day, even if you only got one building block set up for the entire year of your membership, it is still be well worth your investment. Okay. So if time is a concern, I get it. And we all choose and prioritize how we spend our time. I highly recommend that you make time for this program, that you make time to learn these strategies and get them set up so you can stop losing money, so you can stop shooting yourself in the foot financially because you just don't have the right knowledge and education, right? So learn these strategies. Once you get them set up, they're on autopilot, okay? And then you're done. And it's not a lot of time to learn and implement these things. So I highly urge you to not let time stop you. The next one here is doubt, right? And if you have doubt, and when I say doubt, I just mean you're just not sure. I don't know what your reasons are, but you're just not sure for one reason or another. So if you have doubt, we're going to do our best to take away your doubt by giving you this money back guarantee. And the money back guarantee says it's an ironclad, no questions asked, no risk money back guarantee. We say if for any reason you aren't thrilled and satisfied with this training, just let us know anytime over the next 15 days, and we will refund you 100% of your purchase price. We'll give you all your money back. So you literally have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Just try it out. If you don't love it, if you're not crazy about it, we'll give you your money back. No questions asked. Okay. So we give this to you because, and we do this with all of our training, by the way, we give a money back guarantee with all of our training because we know it works. The bottom line is we know it works. It is mathematically proven to work. There's no way that it can't work as long as you do it. So we don't want anything to stand in your way of making this decision, of making this investment in yourself and in your future and in your family. So we give you the money back guarantee so that hopefully that removes your doubt and you can peacefully and confidently move forward with making this decision and making this investment in yourself. Okay. So hopefully that addresses some of your concerns. So here it is. This is the package we're offering. It's valued at $13,422. Like I said, on our website, it's $1297 just to join Finance Academy for the year. And for those of you here, because you're here with Boston RIA, because you're part of this awesome organization, this awesome group, we're giving this to you for $797. Okay, $797 if you make one payment. If it helps you out and you want to do payments, well, you can do 3 payments of $297. Look, this is a no-brainer, right? If you are committed and dedicated to moving forward financially, building wealth as efficiently as possible, figure out a way to come up with the money to pay for this. Get these strategies working for you. Get the financial system working for you, right? Please, 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 I urge you. This is not for us. This is not making a dent in my wealth or George's wealth. We do this to serve. We do this to help people. So again, this is the deal. Hopefully it's a no-brainer for you. We don't want anything to stop you from joining. There's no tricks or gimmicks. It's not like you join for this price and then, we're going to immediately have you pay more money to get more stuff. Everything I've shared with you here tonight is included for this price. And it seems almost unbelievable, but it is really just that incredible of a deal. Okay. So all the bonuses are just for the first 10. The ones on the bottom of your screen right now, just for the first 10 people. The mega bonus is for everybody. The 2 tickets to the live event. We do not want you to miss that. And it's all available online now. When you join within minutes, or depending on how fast or slow the servers are, maybe hours, you're going to get access. You're going to get your username and password. You get to log in and start going through all this incredible knowledge and information right away. And again, just go to financelive.com/Boston. That's Finance Live. Make sure you copy it right. Get the URL right, /Boston. And that's it. Thank you all for your time. Duncan, Kelly, thank you so much. Just really appreciate being here. Sorry I went over on time. I hope you've all enjoyed it. My number one priority is that you all got value out of being here, that you've learn something. Hopefully you get to go implement the Master Sweep account, and I'm happy to hang out as long as possible, as long as we need to answer questions for you guys. So thanks again, Duncan. Thank you everybody for your time and attention. And I hope to see you inside of Finance Academy and hope they get a chance to meet you soon.
Let's give Paul a round of applause. That was a valuable training. Who here got value? Hands to the camera if you got some value out of that. Got your mind blown just a little bit. Yes, a lot of magic tricks there that I've actually heard a few of these before, but I've not heard them presented this way, and I've not seen them all bundled together. So this is like a magic show for finance. It's like being able to make your money levitate and do things. And what's cool is, these are $10,000 stacks. it doesn't even, this is not even close to this, right? Like that is less than $10,000 to get all this value. Like Paul was saying, my financial education cost me double this. It was $85,000 to get to where I'm at. It's to be able to spend $797 to make, even if it makes you just 10 grand a year or saves you 10 grand, is a ridiculous steal. So, Paul, you're not charging enough. Give Paul a round of applause for giving an amazing discount to the Boston RIA. That is phenomenal. I definitely charge a lot more. So I love it. I love seeing all the value. You've inspired me to do something a little better for pricing at some point in the future.
Yeah. Thank you, Walter. I really appreciate that, man. I just want to say, number one, I'm gonna steal your magic trick analogy. That's definitely something I'm gonna use. Making your money levitate. That's awesome. And yeah, it's really, I mean, the pricing is really just a testament to who George Antone is. Like, he doesn't need to be doing what he's doing. He really, truly does. He's one of the few that does what he does in this industry from a real place of service and contribution, and really wanting to help people transform their lives and create a different future. So that's why he offers these things at such incredibly low prices. So thanks for acknowledging that, man.
Absolutely, brother. I see a value. I'm an investor just like you. I see value. I invest in myself before I invest in real estate. And so I see the value of it. I definitely, I'm blown away. At this point, I'd like to open up for questions. Who has questions? I know we saw a whole bunch in the chat. If you have a question, you dropped in the chat and we didn't answer it during this call, you can unmute your mic at this point and just ask the question. The unmute button is hover over the three dots, or if you're on a desktop, you can go over to the mute button on the bottom left and just hit unmute. And feel free to shout out your question. If your question is dumb, don't worry, we'll still answer it. It's okay. If your question's really good, it may be beneficial to everybody else. So this is your chance, this is your opportunity. And because I am the host, I get to ask Paul my first question. Paul, I run a podcast called Alchemist Nation Podcast. It's a real estate podcast, and it would be an honor to have you on board. If you'd like to, at some point, I can shoot you a link at some point this week, next week, the week after. I'd just like to get you on board and present a lot of this information to my audience. Is that something you'd be open to doing?
Absolutely. I would love to, man.
Awesome. Perfect. Let's give Paul a round of applause. I'm already, my answers, my questions, Sam, I'm going to ask a whole bunch more on the podcast. So this is your chance to get your questions out now.
Walter, let me go through some of these that came in through our guests that went through the evening. Janice is quite active in the chat, and her first question was, what interest rate is too high on an unsecured line of credit?
So there's really no way to answer that question without seeing the big picture and seeing all the details that go into this. So it's what's the interest rate on the line of credit, but also what is the interest rate on the debt that you're paying off? So it's how those two relate to each other. And what I will say about it is this: when it comes to setting up the master sweep account, you're going to get, when you join Finance Academy, you're going to get a spreadsheet and a calculator. And again, because George was a lead developer for Intuit and helped build Quicken and QuickBooks and Quicken Financial Planner, George is absolutely brilliant when it comes to building calculators with Microsoft Excel. So one of the benefits of learning from George is that you get these extremely powerful calculators that he builds for you to use. So basically, with the master sweep account strategy, specifically with this, you're at the end of the day, you're going to have to plug in your information for what debt you're looking to pay off, what your income is, what your disposable income is, what the terms are on your line of credit, what the interest rate is on it, to figure out all the details of how you're going to set up your master sweep account, how much money you want to be putting in each month, how much you want to be pulling out of the debt, how much you're going to be paying off. So all those components are all variables that determine what interest rate might be too high on the line of credit, and what interest rate is going to be in the sweet spot, in the right range. So unfortunately, Duncan, there's no way for me to answer that question. There's no cut and dry black and white answer to that question. It all depends on the variables.
Okay, so the next question comes from Gary Best. He says, aren't you just exchanging cheap mortgage debt for expensive credit line debt?
So no, you're not just exchanging cheap mortgage debt for expensive credit line debt. What you're doing is, number one, you're paying off interest. And I'll say this. So you're paying off interest, or you're paying off debt and saving interest. You're also having float work for you with this strategy. So again, remember that timeline. So over the course of many years, if your money's just sitting in a bank account doing nothing for you versus having your money work for you and have float work for you, over time, the mathematics behind that, when you're factoring in compounding, is astronomical. The difference that will make in your net worth over time. So that's one of the factors. But then you're also obviously saving money on interest. But that being said, what I want to say is this. I said this earlier, but I'll say it again. You may or may not, given the current climate, given what interest rates currently are, you may or may not want to use this master sweep account to pay off a mortgage. You may want to keep a mortgage in place that has a fixed interest rate of 3 to 4%, because that's actually an extremely valuable tool that's helping you build your wealth in other ways that you'll learn about inside of Finance Academy. So I want to be clear that I'm not just saying to use this strategy to go pay off your mortgage, no matter what your mortgage is. It depends on your entire financial situation, right? So there's more to learn about what debt to pay off, what debt you're going to want to keep in place. And there's unfortunately no way that I can give you all the knowledge and information tonight to understand how to make those decisions, but you will learn that inside of Finance Academy. But at the end of the day, to answer this particular question, you're not just exchanging one debt for another. You're using that debt very strategically in the line of credit, and you're saving interest along the way, and you're having float work for you at the same time. There's another way that the master sweep account works for you as well, that you'd really need to see some visuals, and you need to see some mathematics, and you need to see some calculations to understand it. But there's actually a third reason that the master sweep account will benefit you financially. And again, it's all extremely fascinating and somewhat mind-bending. So once you get in and join Finance Academy, you're going to get all the details about how this works.
Okay, and then the next question from James Mohar is, do you advocate always keeping a mortgage on your primary home?
I do. Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I advocate it because I understand how the financial system works. Now, that being said, I will say this. Once you learn how the financial system works and really learn the value and the benefit of having that mortgage in place, you're going to want to have a mortgage on your primary residence as well. But a lot of people feel more peace of mind by having their primary residence owned free and clear because it's not generating income, right? So when you have income producing assets, it's more justifiable to have a mortgage on it because the income is hopefully paying for your expenses and your debt service, right? But on your primary residence, you don't have income being generated from that asset. So if you have a mortgage, as a lot of people have learned, it's more of a liability because you have payments being made. But that fixed rate long-term debt, when you learn how valuable that is to have in place mathematically, you're probably going to want to have a 30-year mortgage on your primary residence as well. So I advocate it because of what I understand and what I know. I'll say, if you feel more at peace and you feel more peace of mind financially, having your primary residence paid off and owned free and clear, then I support that as well. At the end of the day, we're all about peace of mind and financial happiness. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question.
Okay, so let me see here. If using the line of credit, I suppose it only makes sense when the line of credit interest percentage is lower than the original home loan interest.
No, that's not actually correct. So it's a really great question. And you would assume logically that the line of credit interest rate would have to be lower than the interest rate on the debt you're paying off. But the way we're going to teach you when you start learning the details of setting this strategy up, we're going to teach you how to lower what's called the effective interest rate on the line of credit. So the line of credit might have an interest rate of, say, 6%. The way we're going to teach you how to set this strategy up, we're going to teach you how to lower, again, what's called the effective interest rate from 6% down to somewhere around 2%. So mathematically, it actually does still make sense to use the line of credit to pay off debt that would have a 3% interest rate. It mathematically actually works out in your favor to do that. Now, that being said, again, you may want to keep some long-term strategic debt in place if it's long-term and fixed, if it has that 3% interest rate. But point being, and to answer the question, you can use the line of credit to pay off debt that has a lower interest rate than the line of credit and still have it mathematically make sense.
And this sweep can pay a car loan off quickly?
Yeah, you can use this strategy to pay off a car loan, credit card debt, student loans, literally any debt faster.
Do you or any affiliates sell the life insurance policy used in the family bank, or do we secure those on our own with our own insurance brokers?
Yeah, you can use, we have somebody that we refer the insurance business to. Is not an affiliate, but he's just somebody that we trust and that we've worked with. But you're free to use whoever you want. But when you join Finance Academy, we will give you a recommendation of somebody that we use. And, you know, if you know somebody that is an insurance broker, you're free to use them as well. What I will say is this on that topic: whoever you use, you want to just make sure that they specialize in this particular type of product. Because with life insurance, there are so many ways that you can structure life insurance policies. And if you get your life insurance policy structured in the wrong way, it can really hurt you as far as using it as a tool to build your wealth. So there's so many different variables to structuring these life insurance policies that it's really crucial that you make sure you get it structured in the right way. So that's why we recommend you use the person that we refer you to, but you're free to use whoever you want.
Okay, from CC, from the synergistic standpoint, it's implementing MSA with investing. They appear to have contradicting principles. Money today is more expensive than money tomorrow. How do you think about optimizing the money used to pay down debt additionally versus making other investments with potentially higher ROI?
Yeah, it's a really great question. So at the end of the day, you know, we're teaching you these strategies, how they stand alone on their own. What we want to do is educate you so you can, we're in the business of teaching and educating and having you be able to understand how the whole system works so that you can make the most sophisticated decisions possible when it comes to your entire financial life. That includes your investments, that includes your personal finances, that includes everything that you're doing financially. We want you to have the knowledge and the education to know exactly what to do, exactly when to do it. So that's what we're up to, and that's what we're about. So that being said, there is a time where it's like, okay, how do you allocate the money that you have, right? So if you have X amount of dollars coming in, how do you allocate it? What percentage of that should go towards investments? What percentage of that should go towards these strategies we're teaching you, or the master sweep account, or paying down debt, right? So at the end of the day, it all comes down to numbers. It all comes down to mathematics. And there's no way that I can answer that question for you. It's not an either or scenario. It's a both and, because they're both extremely valuable. Using these strategies and taking money and investing it is extremely valuable. But at the end of the day, a lot of people, what they're doing is they're taking their money and investing it, right? So if you're taking your money that you're generating as income and you've managed to save, and then you're using that as what you're investing, in our opinion, and what you'll learn as you go through the finance hacking process and what you learn through us, is there's actually a better way for you to be investing. And there's a better way for you to be leveraging other people's money, to be investing other people's money and generating infinite returns for yourself with other people's money. So when it comes down to it, you're absolutely right that you want to consider your personal finance system and your investing system. They're both important, and you have to know what to do with each of them. At the end of the day, we don't teach this inside of Finance Academy, but once you go through Finance Academy, the investing training that we teach teaches you exactly how to do that, how to combine now your financing system, what you learn through Finance Academy, and how to combine that with your investing system and how to make both work as efficiently as possible. So I know it's a long-winded answer to your question, but it's a really great question. It's a little more complex and complicated than just a straightforward answer that you don't want to pay down debt today because you can generate a higher return on your money than the debt that you're paying off. It's a little bit more complex than that. And again, once you go through the program and start learning from George, all this is going to become clear. It's almost like George uses the analogy of the financial matrix. Basically, we all live in a financial matrix. The way the financial system works is like the Matrix. If you've seen the movie The Matrix, it's like you don't know you're in the Matrix until you are in the Matrix and you get to see how everything's working. So what George is teaching is essentially how to see the financial matrix and how to understand how all the components of it work so that you can then make the best decisions. And we're going to teach you how to make those best decisions and put them in place so that literally the whole thing can be working for you. And at the end of the day, the answer to that question that was just asked is it's not as cut and dry as you might think as far as not paying down debt so that you can invest your money and generate a higher return. Duncan, are you there?
I'm here. I'm sorry. This one's from France Supreme. Once the LOC is set up, do you use the whole amount you have been approved for and apply that to your mortgage, or you pay a certain amount at a time?
That's a really great question. So there's a formula for this. So you'll learn this inside of Finance Academy. Since the question is asked, I'm going to give you the formula. So if you're still on the line and still on the call, just jot down this formula for the Master Sweep account. So the formula is this. You want to take your monthly income, your monthly take-home net income, multiply that by 4, and that is ideally, that's the minimum amount that you get your line of credit set up for. So you want to have, so let's say your monthly income is $10,000 a month. You want to take 10,000 times 4, and ideally you want to have a line of credit for at least $40,000. Okay, 10,000 times 4. And then as far as the balance of the line of credit, so that's your minimum for the line of credit is 40,000. So 40,000 or above. You can go higher than 40,000 on the line of credit, but you want the minimum to be 4 times your monthly income. And then as far as the balance of the line of credit, you want the maximum balance to be 2 times your monthly income. So again, if your income is 10,000 a month, you want the maximum balance you have on that 40,000 minimum line of credit to be 20,000. Now, the reason for that, there's multiple reasons for that. One is how quickly do you pay down the balance of the line of credit? Because at the end of the day, your disposable income is what's going to be paying off the line of credit. So if you have 10,000 a month in income and you have, let's say, 6,000 a month in bills and expenses, then you have 4,000 a month left over every month, and that's what's paying down your line of credit. So if you have a 20,000 balance on the line of credit and you have 4,000 a month in disposable income, that means the balance of the line of credit is going to be paid off in 5 months. And then you're going to take another big chunk out of the debt and you're going to keep doing it, right? So that's one of the aspects of this strategy. And another one is your credit score. So one of the modules and one of the building blocks inside of Finance Academy is hacking credit. So as finance hackers, you want to have the highest borrowing capacity possible, which means you want to have the highest credit score possible. You want to have the right debt to income ratio, right? So we're going to teach you about all of that. And debt to income ratio is important, right? So having that 2 times your monthly income maximum debt on the line of credit is important to have your credit score stay optimized. So great question.
One more question is, how does this work for somebody with no home and fair credit?
Yeah, so if you have no home and fair credit, that's fine. So we're just teaching you one strategy here tonight, and we use an example of paying off a mortgage. If you don't own any assets and you have fair credit, that is fine. We're going to teach you strategies, and we're going to teach you ways that you can even leverage other people's credit and other people's income. Because look, if you're in a position where you're starting out, you might need to leverage somebody else and leverage your network, leverage other people, and leverage their resources in order to get these strategies working. So if you're in a position where you don't own a home and you have fair credit, the strategies can still work for you. We're going to teach you all about it and how to make it all work. All
right. Last question, then I'm going to turn back the meeting over to Walter to close out. So this is actually on order. Some people said they've signed up and their credit card's charged, but they have not received a receipt or an email yet.
Okay, so just hang in there. Sometimes the servers can be slow. Check your spam or junk mail. Sometimes it might end up in there. Just hang tight. If you've paid for it and you've joined and you haven't gotten the welcome email yet with your username and password, it's coming soon. So if for some strange reason you still don't get it, the only thing I can think of is maybe you entered your email address wrong when you registered. If that's the case, I'll just actually type it in the chat. I would just say, if you don't get your username and password and that welcome email by tomorrow morning, then I'm just going to send you this email address. just send an email to this support@finance.com. Okay, that is for anybody who's joining Finance Academy. That's your go-to. That's for any customer service, client care needs. Just send them an email and they'll get you taken care of. So, but if you didn't get the email yet, hang tight. It's probably on its way. It'll be to you within minutes.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Paul. I'm going to turn the meeting back over to Walter and any last questions. And thank you very much for tonight.
You're so welcome. Thank you, Duncan. I really appreciate being here. Thank you to everybody at Boston RIA. Thank you, Kelly. And yeah, it's a real pleasure to be here. I hope I get a chance to see you guys again soon. Maybe when we're back to having live meetings, I can come out and be with you guys in person and actually meet you live and in person. That would be great. But yeah, thank you for having me. It's been a real pleasure, everybody.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Duncan. Great job on doing all those questions. My voice has not been the same, so I definitely appreciate you taking that one. Paul, phenomenal job responding to everything. I was just creeping on your Facebook, which, by the way, if you're not following Paul Fossano on Facebook, you're missing out. He's got a lot of great content he puts out, same on YouTube. But Paul, you actually have a similar history as me. You've actually taken the Train the Trainer training over at Peak Potentials, studied under T. Harv Eker, which is pretty cool. Because I noticed it in one of your slides, you're talking about mindset, you know, how to, you know, change the blueprint and break it out. So I just want to let everybody know, like, not only is he trained in finance, in personal development in that arena, but he understands how the mind operates. And so as somebody who's taken that training and understands it, that's what gives him such a great advantage. Wasn't this an entertaining lesson? Just being able to listen to it, right? Very valuable, very informative. That's how people who are trained this way speak and are able to instill in your mind an understanding. So Paul definitely is designed to train and designed to help you understand faster. It's called accelerated learning. And that's what he learned in that process. That's why it was so easy for you to understand, even though, and let me be clear, this is a complex process that he broke down to make simplified for you, but you took it in, you understand this is valuable. Yes. Everybody who listened understood that this was something valuable. I was texting Ryan McDermott, who's a